Oh, it's been a long old time, hasn't it? But welcome back to the pinnacle. Welcome to GPVWC Super League, and welcome to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, better known to you or I as Imola. A 4-week-long break coming through the, now summer, but technically the spring break, we'll call it. But it's time for round 7 of the 2026 GPVWC Super League season. With Remco de Zeeuw on the cameras, you join myself, Ross McIntyre, alongside me, a man who needs no introduction. It is the one, the only, Edward Hunter. How are we doing, Ed?
Okay, it sounds like you're about to hunt me down there. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty good. Admittedly, I'd completely forgotten that I was supposed to had agreed at some point to do this, because I thought Caitlin was only missing Canada, but she's also not here for Imola as well. So all the best, Caitlin. I'm sure she'll be back and doing a great job soon. But since I'm here, I'll sub in. And yeah, looking forward to another exciting Super League round, and especially after the HRT 1-2 last time at Montreal. It sets us up very, very nicely for this part of the season. Mathieu Mulnick only about 16 points behind Loic Moynier. So all of a sudden, Moynier, who looked like he was waltzing away with it after the first 4 rounds, it must be said, now it's starting to be closed in. So we could be really game on for something quite spectacular in this middle part of the season.
Certainly could be. We've got a couple of rounds before the summer break. You can see the championship standings as things currently are on your picture right now. But as qualifying has got underway, and the fact that everyone is on their outlaps, let's quickly join a man who has the worst internet in the entirety of Italy to get a view on how, it's harsh but fair, I think. He has fixed. Yes, let's have a little look on board and see how you navigate your way around Imola with Alessandro Maggi.
Hello everyone, my name is Alessandro Maggio, and tonight I'll guide you around a hot lap of my sim racing home, Imola. Starting the lap, we make our way out of the final corner, make sure we have a nice exit for the very, very long main straight. Make sure you take the line of least resistance through these subtle kinks. They give us just enough time to start mentally preparing for the first braking zone of the lap. Use the curb, we pick out 100 meters for the first chicane, jump on those curbs, make sure you have a nice exit onto this small stretch. Use all of the track on entry, fly over the first curb and brush the second one for a nice exit. We brake at 50 meters for Tosa, quite later than you'd think, apex late for a very important exit onto our run up the hill. Next up is Piratella, make sure you're as far out as you can going into it. Fling the car in, very committed, and maximize track usage. Down the hill into the trickiest braking zone of the track, the upcoming around it. Brush the first apex and hit the second one nicely without getting caught on the exit curves. Another small stretch brings us to the Variante Alta chicane. Brake at 70 meters and fly over those sausage curves while setting up a perfect exit onto the second biggest road of the track. Hit that DRS section zone, stay as far out as you can and brake as late as you dare for the first rebazza. Squeeze the throttle and just a lift for the second one, hit those curbs in and out, slam the throttle down and go as far to the edge of the wall as you possibly can and across the line. And that is a lap around the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari di Imola.
Thanks a lot, Alessandro, for the onboard there, and we'll jump straight into our qualifying session. Looks like the first laps are just about to be completed. You can see one of the True North cars crossing the line. That is Norbert Jakob, who puts in an early time of a 1:15 something. He's a couple of tenths off, currently fastest. Alex Laho. Welcome back, Alex, the Frenchman, the 2024 Superleague Champion, stepping in this evening for TOP Esports. But Yannick Bod, the two-time champ of Super League, straight to the top with the early bank laps, 800ths or 8 thousandths quicker than Laho, should I say. Laho himself only 3 thousandths up on Sergio Fletcher, who then has in sim racing terms, bit of a gap back to Mark Schluter in P4. We're still waiting for the rest of the laps to be completed. 2 stand-ins for TOP Esports this evening. Of course, in Alex Laho, also Daniel Scott, the rookie monster stalwart from down in Super Lights. Good to have them both here with us this evening. There's Dylan Fisher that we can currently see just on his outlap in the Lunark. Of course, as always, in GPVWC private qualifying session for our drivers. No traffic, no tow, just you and the car versus the world. Purple in Sector 2, the Dylan Fisher Lunark. nailed the upgrades coming into Canada? Have they put more work into that car over the 4 weeks we've had off? We'll follow Fischer across the rest of his lap. It's a decent sector one, not quite half a tenth off of the fastest time. His teammate sits on top of the timing sheets. What can the Englishman do as he brings it to the line? Dylan Fischer does stick it on provisional pole by 800ths of a second. And Ed Hunter, we have a Lunark 1-2 early doors here in qualifying. Similar to what we saw early doors in Canada, where Fischer was very, very quick and then slowly dropped down the order as the session went on. Are we expecting them to say that, or can somebody else get in, upset the apple cart?
Well, Fischer has been definitely very, very strong in qualifying over the past year or so. Really, ever since he took pole position at Monza last season, he was scored 4th on the grid in the end, ahead of his teammate Bok in Montreal then. So I would not be surprised at all if we see a number of drivers just dip into the 114.9s here. And yeah, this man Maggio, who saw the pole lap from us, no doubting which country he's from, it's plastered all over the car now. Valet has swapped yellow for the red, white, and green, which is, of course, is the tricolour of, well, that's France, isn't it? But anyway, it's 3 colours.
Same thing.
So I forget what the Italian is for 3 colours, but anyway.
I think it might be tricolore, to be fair. I think it's pretty
yeah,
simple.
there we go, yeah. So, yeah, of course, they may not be the yellow Ferraris quite valid. They've got their own distinct but uniquely Italian identity, as we see Maggio just dip a wheel onto the gravel on the exit of Acqua Minerale and into the Variante Alto. You sort of fly over that chicane, the amount of force. We were seeing it when I was commentating on Formula Sprint 1 earlier, that it's sort of the risky line is to basically just absolutely attack the first curb and then sort of hit the throttle and hope that you don't disappear off track, essentially. So drivers have really fine-tuned their setups for this particular moment. And there we go. Maggio goes a tenth quicker. He's our first man in the 114s. 114.893 then. So just over a tenth quicker than Dylan Fischer. So the gauntlet's been laid down. That's a very, very good lap from Maggio. And it will take some beating.
It will indeed. Very solid lap there from the Italian to kickstart his proceedings in this qualifying session. Wait to see if anybody is going to be able to try and challenge that one. There is Pavel Andrzejewski standing in for Fraser Tartan this evening. A lot of stands-in here in Super League this evening for the Imola round. Be that not available, or maybe they don't want to contest it. Don't know why you would not want to contest it. It is one of the best racetracks in the world if you have your head screwed on properly. Sergio Fletcher, 2 purple sectors, only just in Sector 1. Sector 2, very, very tidy though. 700ths up on the quickest driver through there. And it was a Lunark 1-2 in this session moments ago. We could be looking at a Valet 1-2 on home soil. To the line goes Fletcher. Can the Spaniard make something brilliant happen? Does stick it in second, but it's a messy final sector. Still that Valet 1-2 though, as Schluter comes into the pit lane. So we now have Valet, from Lunark, from TOP, from Lunark as your top 5. Maggio, Fletcher, Fischer, Laho, and Yannick Bok in there in the mix at the moment. In fact, Bok's just gone in front of Laho, as you can see there. Yellow in sector 2 though. A little bit of time off of his teammates. Now, Valo lockout row 1, Lunark lockout row 2. As I say, that reigning champion, Loic Mounier, goes into P4 in the Spark. Nick's car, his teammate this evening, is the one and the only Aaron Vasquez, also a stand-in job. Aaron has been dominating much of proceedings down in Super Lights. Of course, he is statistically the greatest iRacer on the planet at the moment. And after showing a couple of rounds last year in Super Lights, did an okay job, has come to R Factor 2, come to GPVWC, and shown that he really means business with his Super Lights campaigns as well. We were talking about it on our podcast, which went up yesterday. If you haven't watched the latest edition of the Super League and Super Lights podcast, go and check it out. Myself, Toby Davis, and Carlos Martin, bringing you our thoughts and feelings and predictions season so far and ahead. We talked a lot about how Aaron obviously now has a Skip Barber commitments over in the States. He's been invited to join in that championship. Already has a podium at Sebring. He'll be very interesting to watch this evening as he hopefully has a good run of things in Super League in that Sparks next car. Norbert Jakob heading back out onto the circuit. Not quite halfway through this qualifying session at the moment, Ed, but Maggio has a 10 to the good at the front. That is very, very tight from Sergio Fletcher down to Carlos Martin, I'd say. Maybe even a bit further. We'll go to Alex Laho in P7. Carlos with a great lap to stick himself into 6th place. So it's pretty tight at the moment, but of course Imola It's a tricky circuit to race at. It's very technical. There's obviously going to be a crash into Tamburello on the opening lap. Anything can happen.
Yeah, speaking of anything can happen, Jarl Tyne, of course, who got on pole position dramatically, very, very dramatic by a tiny, tiny margin right at the end of the qualifying in Montreal. He has gone fastest in the first sector. He's coming up towards split 2 now, 41 thousandths down on Maggio. So this is going to be a very, very competitive run. Jarl Tyne, the Norwegian, has been saving this one up. We've seen he was the runner-up last season. He's got amazing car control. He only just about, I think, was able to hold on to the podium in third in Montreal, of course, behind our top 2 at HRT then. So Tyne looking to really turn his season around after a bit of an up and down start, up to P4 ahead of Loic Mounier, crucially then. So Mounier beaten back down to 5th with 5.5 minutes to go, but Tyne losing just a little bit of time in the final 2 splits there. The first sector really competitive. Maggio, though, has had set an amazing middle sector, a whole 10th quicker alone. Through Rivazza 1, or just flirting with disaster on the curb on the outside. Now into Rivazza 2, same again. Is this going to be enough to get him even further away from teammate Fletcher? No, not quite.
Oh, messy.
Oh, no, it is better. It is better. Sorry. It's not faster final sector, but it is a faster lap, 1:14.7, so 2.5 tenths quicker than Fletcher.
Maggio flying here at the moment, even with that messy final sector. Maybe there's more pace in the tank for Italian. At Monza a couple of years ago in Superlights, he took an unbelievable pole position at home. Can he repeat that feat here in, well, not quite San Marino, but it is the San Marino Grand Prix, of course. We're a couple of miles down the road from the actual province. Of course, Imola is situated in the Emilia-Romagna province of Italy, but it gets the San Marino label anyway. It's historic. We do what we want here in GPV, but Maggio clearly a point to prove, and still that Valet 1-2 in this session as well. 4:30 left to run here. Vasquez a 10th down in Sector 1, 2 tenths off in Sector 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he abandons this lap and tries to squeeze in 2 more. Think he should just about have the time to make it out there, potentially, if he pulls into the end of the pit lane at the end of this lap. The Spaniard makes his way down the bottom end of the track through the left-hander, and again, I expect him to be pulling into the pit lane on the right-hand side of the circuit, which indeed he does so. So Vasquez brings it on him. Wasn't happy with that one. Wasn't a particularly strong run through the middle sector, through Piratella, Acque Minerale, Variante Alta, and the likes of those corners. Norbert Jakob, it is a personal green, but he decides also better to come in and get a fresh
came out of the gravel, Ross.
Oh, did he? I missed that one. I was looking at my timing screen. That's why. That's why Norbert Jakob brought it in. It's all right, though, Ed. There's still 3.5 minutes left in the session. Plenty of time to do another lap.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Norbert won't be too put off by that one, as now we watch Spain's very own Xavi Ross trying to emulate what he's seen from Sergio Fletcher and Carlos Martin, who've both been in the top 2 at races so far this season. Of course, Fletcher second at the moment, even though he is 2.5 tenths down on Maggio. That's enough for the front row as it stands. And yeah, very, very good middle sector here from Xavi Ross. This could be enough to let him sneak into the top 10. So our winner from last time out, Maciej Milnik, only 10th at the moment, just a thousandth ahead of Jeffrey Fournier, and he's 10th no longer because Xavi Ross has just gotten in front of him and Mark Schluter into 9th position with a 1:15.1. So Xavi Ross, his 1-lap speed has always been really, really impressive in Super League. He's not quite gotten that big result yet to push him through, although he has been he was 9th in Bahrain. That's his best career result so far this season. Other than that, sort of lower points finishes and a couple of DNFs then. So Xavi Ross really looking to push through here and maybe finish in the top 8 for the first time this season. Schluter, though, is himself setting personal bests and trying to sneak back in as Jarl Tyne has gone purple in the first sector once again. So this could be worrying times if you're a Valley Esports fan, because Jarl Tyne is looking for 2 poles in a row.
Jarl Tyne, of course, winless this season for last year's vice champion, has had a pole position. We know what his 1-lap pace is like. It's a monster Sector 1 as well. 1.25 tenths up on anybody else. THR driver, I said, winless in 2026. There's a fire in his belly, a couple of good results, a couple of podiums, and he means business here in Imola. Green in Sector 2, there's still a tenth to the good, only a handful more corners to go. as he comes down to the bottom of the hill, works his way around Ravazza. Of course, 2 corners with the same name. Try to wrap your head around that one. Shortest run to line possible for the Norwegian. What's it going to be? As he comes to the line second, he's off in sector number 2. And it sticks him a 10th and 15 thousandths away from Alessandro Maggio, despite the monster sector number 1 from the THR driver. And he's not going to have time to do another lap either. Jarl Tyne will have to settle for second place at the moment unless anybody else can come in and upset the apple cart. These will be the final laps. No more time left in this 12-minute session to head out there and go again. Vasquez, disappointing lap. Yellow and yellow as he comes to the line. Does go green. Gains himself a spot ahead of Maciej Młynek and into 11th place as well. As we stand at, it's Maggio from Tyne, from Fletcher, from Fischer, from Yannick Bock as your top 5. But Maggio seems to be going even faster, seems to be pushing onwards, wants to get a bigger pole.
Indeed he does. Well, I mean, pole is pole, but Maggio wants to just ensure nobody's got the chance to even slightly threaten it so far. And this is what we love to see when Alessandro Maggio is at his best. He hooks up all 3 sectors. He's really risking it into Ravazza 1, now through Ravazza 2. Just about gets the oversteer under control. To the line he comes. Is this going to be even quicker than a 1:14.75? No, it's just slightly off in the final sector, but I don't think it's going to change anything too much. The interesting thing, Jarl Tyne's so quick in the first sector. I wonder if Jarl Tyne has maybe set that car up to be a little bit quicker down the straights, but Maggio's just got so much confidence under braking and getting back on the throttle in time, as well as we watch Rotor Formula's Thomas Vack, the pole, trying to get into the top 15. That will be the points paying positions. Currently, it's Che Hatch just behind Tom Stevens in the battle for 14th and 15th at the end of this qualifying session. Checkered flag well and truly out now. We wait now to see if Vack can save his qualifying with a decent lap here. He's quite a way down, nearly 2.5 tenths in the first sector. Middle sector only a tenth off of Maggio, so now it's all down to this run to the line. Jakab goes into P15.
From Jakab, but it's been a bit disappointing from the True North guys, in all honesty. Vack puts it into 18th for Rotor Formula Racing. Tom Stevens down in 15th place. What is going on for the Englishman? By his standards, a disastrous qualifying session, but he is green in sector number 1 and not very far away from the fastest sector time there, so could be looking to rocket his way up the grid if he keeps this lap solid, if he keeps this lap steady, working his way through the chicane, bouncing over the curbs, nearly into the gravel. Stevens, it is all out attack with 2 corners left to go. Down at Ravazza through the first left. Don't run it too wide onto the gravel. Then again, similar story. Left and not out too wide. Don't want to scrub off too much speed on that curb either. 2 tenths down in sector number 2. Does he gain places? No. Stays in 15th. Tom Stevens, a very, very off qualifying from the Englishman. And comparatively to what we know he can do, he is absolutely nowhere. As it currently stands, I don't think we're going to be seeing any more time set in this session. And it will be, as we saw at Monza in Superlights a few seasons ago, it is pole at home for Alessandro Maggio and puts that Valle Esports car with the special home livery on the front row. Jarl Tyne, very solid lap to go alongside him. Sergio Fletcher is third, should I say, and he's followed by the pair of Lunarks who are seemingly feeling racy. It's Dylan Fisher ahead of our 2-time champion Yannick Bock. Then it's reigning champion Loic Mounier alongside Carlos Martin in P7. Alex Laho on his return to Super League goes into P8 after a really good run in Superlights a couple of nights ago. Then it is Javi Ross, should I say, and Mark Schluter who round out our top 10. And then it gets a bit of a bigger gap as you go further on down, but it's very tight at the top of that session, to say the least. We follow them with Aaron Vasquez in the Sparks Nix car, again jumping into Super League for the first time in a while this evening. He's followed by race winner in Canada last time out about a month ago now, Maciej Młynek, only P12. Jeffrey Fournier and Che Hatch on row number 7 for Red Archer. A lockout on that one. Good to see Che Hatch back with us this evening at Super League. His debut at Canada did not last very long, unfortunately for him. Let's see if he can have a bit of a longer run this time. Then the big surprise in, well, this next row number 8, Tom Stevens and Norbert Jakab. A disappointing qualifying for both of those drivers. Let's see what the race has in store. They're followed by Lucas Murno and Jose Soriano. Thomas Vack is P19. Furt Pushka rounding up the top drivers in that one. And then further down the order, Patchka Magnussen, the super light stalwart. He starts in 21st, standing in at Super Ventura this evening. Then it's Eros Masculi, then a pair of Fraser Tartans in Moritz Krop and Pavel Andrzejewski. Then Tom van Voort, Daniel Scott, who joins us from Rookie Monsters, as I mentioned earlier. Davi Amariz for Lion GP, making GPVWC debut this evening. Then apparently 2 Jukka-Pekka Lalus. Take which one you want. He's going to be starting at the back of the grid regardless in P28. He'll be disappointed with that one. But if he avoids the chaos down at turn number 1, he should be A-okay. But very, very exciting qualifying, that one, Ed. It is a home pole position for Alessandro Maggio. Can he convert that, or can the likes of Jarl Tyne, of the 2 Lunark cars, get themselves in the conversation and get involved?
Yeah, difficult one to answer. I guess the race will reveal everything in the fullness of time, of course. But yeah, Valet and Lunark both looking to fight back after slightly difficult races in Montreal. And then we've got Jarl Tyne looking for his 3rd podium of the season in P2 and his 1st win, of course. And yeah, he was one the few to really improve late in the session and has split the Valets there. So lots of big stories up and down the grid. But of course, Tom Stevens down in 15th, a former winner of this race back in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. He had that brilliant win against Jake Denhan, who was the eventual champion that season. So yeah, Stevens with quite a lot of work to do, as was very much the case in Montreal as well. I think he qualified lower end of the top 10 and got in a load of battles with Carlos and a couple of other drivers as well, including Carlos making that brilliant double move on him as well. So yeah, we'll have to see, and especially a lot of rookies like Daniel Scott. And Daniel Scott's done a couple of Super League appearances, but Davi Amirez, it's his 1st start as well, so we wish him all the best for Lion GP too. So yeah, lots to keep our eye on up and down the field.
There certainly is. We are now underway in our warm-up session. 10 minutes of this for us to enjoy, but before we'll get in fact, let's give you a break from me and Ed. I know we can sound annoying sometimes. Why don't we take a trip down memory lane? It was a month ago, the last round of Canada. Quite a decent chunk of time has passed over the spring break. So let's remind ourselves what went down, what happened in a pretty intense race. I did see Maciej Młynek and Carlos Martin bringing home an HRT 1-2. Not potentially looking like they're going to repeat that here today. The HRT seemingly off pace, but it could all be changed. Let's remind ourselves with some highlights what happened in Canada. With a brilliant, blistering middle sector, but it was down big time in sector number 1, keeps it out of the wall. Can the HRT driver make a miracle happen as he comes to the line? Goes second with a brilliant 1,000th away from Jarl Tyne. How close do you want that to be? Away from the line, bit of contact there with those around. That looks to be one of the True Norths trying to slide through. Mark Schluter at the team's home race, 3 abreast as they come underneath the bridge. This is crazy stuff as somebody is in the wall. Was that the other Lunark car of Yannick Bock? Indeed it was. The double time champion takes to the escape road, may have damage. There's a big one in the background. There's more drivers getting old. Jase Latinen looks like he's in it. Somebody else may well be out of the race as well. It is Che Hatch, and I think I saw a wheel going bouncing across the racing surface.
In the first half, this is what happened to poor Moritz Krop into turn 1. Rosold hit in the back by McGorgy, I believe.
Yeah, that's a really, really unfortunate incident for Moritz Krop. I thought I saw somebody going sideways at turn 1. I didn't realize it was going sideways and into the wall very, very hard.
That's Simon, sorry.
Yeah, it is Simon Frelick. It's not a huge tap on the rear, but it's enough to put Moritz Krop down and out of the race before turn 1. Bock and Van der Voort are not, in fact, out of this race. It was saying they were DNF. They had just made their way into the pits, but we have lost 4 on that opening lap. Here is one of the drivers that has retired now in Jase Latinen. So there was the incident with Che Hatch. So it was Latinen who made his way into the wall in the Super Venturi. Was able to get going again. Hatch was down and out, driving in at Danny Van der Neert's car.
Oh, was that Soppinen that got hit in the back by Latinen, and then Che Hatch trying to go inside, loses the wheel in the process. So taken actually by one of the Adonis cars, and then they just tangle, and Murno's kind of the innocent victim trying to stay out of trouble and gets caught up in it.
Yeah, we'll go on board with Murno to see what happened with that one. It was Eros Masculi, so they actually touched coming through the left-hander. I don't know if McGorgy kind of ran out of room or Masculi thought he was clear. I definitely think that McGorgy wasn't expecting for Masculi to be there as they went into the corner. And yeah, just 2 cars converging into a space that doesn't really exist, unfortunately. And look at the avoidance from Aaron Vasquez, who I thought initially got in it, did incredibly well to stay out of that one. The Spaniard. Perhaps been prioritising their Forza Horizon.
Oh, here comes your cab. Sorry to
Over
interrupt, Ross.
GPV. No, go ahead. Up the inside, Norbert your cab. That's a lovely move from a long way back. And Maggio, who was looking like he was trying to line a move up to get into second place, it is now Norbert your cab in the home race for True North, who slides his way into the podium.
Curb there, so
Oh, someone's in the wall.
Oh, and we see Sven Schubert tangling with Vasquez there. Absolute pandemonium at turn 2. Fischer is around, and it looks like yeah, all sorts of things happening here. Fischer losing his front wing.
Yeah, that's great so far in 2026, despite displaying a
Was it
massive
Schluter
improvement.
behind him that's hit
Yeah,
him?
was there a touch? Yeah,
Yes.
there was definitely a touch from Schluter, and then another one as well. It's hard into the wall, just on the edge of the tyre barriers, and then into the Armco as well. Has to do a little 180 spin flick to get it going again. And then, of course, there was chaos just behind him as well. Let's follow what happened with Vasquez. It's with one of the Fraser Tartan drivers in tow. And, Vasquez they both just missed the corner, and Vasquez just goes around. Okay, fair enough. That was Sven Schubert that made his way through. So no contact there, at least. That was just both of them giving it a little bit too much. And, yeah, Sven Schubert wasn't really going to make the corner. And then Vasquez went in with way too much speed anyway, and then was trying to avoid Sven Schubert, who wasn't making our front runners to make their way
your
into
cab
the
on
pit lane.
Stevens. And Stevens got the inside here. Your cab will have to go the long way round. Will the Hungarian, they rub wheels, and Steven has still got the inside for turn 3 here, and he fends him off there. So really, really tough stuff. And this is absolutely helping out Jarl Time, no mistake.
Repeat that. Stevens definitely in the better position to do so. Carlos Martin is on the charge though with the DRS, deploying the battery, nearly touching 330 kilometers an hour. Gets through Maggio, will have the DRS with a good exit onto the front straight. Could potentially be looking at Mark Schluter as well, but he is going to be too far back. He'll have to stay there and settle for the time being.
Rowing Lake on that left-hand side of your camera shot, and you can see Martin pulling out to the right-hand side and clearing the True North car as if it wasn't even there. Next up, the other True North of Norbert Jakob, 3 seconds up the road, that Milnek, if anything, has not quite been able to break away from. He stayed there about 3 seconds behind Jarl Tyne and Tom Stevens. But yeah, the lap times from Milnek, 1:13.6, so yeah, good half a second quicker than our race-leading THR pair at the moment.
With the battery and with much fresher, even if worn tyres, this should be a piece of cake. Up the inside, down the main straight, and it's Maciej Młynek who moves into second place as we go onto lap number 41 of 70 here at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve
Using the soft tyres and stretching them out, as we see now your cab goes really, really close, but here comes Martin making a double move up the inside of both of them into the chicane. I think Stevens has to cut the chicane, so that's worked out very badly for him, but Carlos Martin, opportunism and a half, he gets 2 into 1.
And see this once again from Carlos Martin. Of course, he has the assistance of the DRS, the battery, the double slipstream, up to 240 kilometers an hour with that one. Gets it stopped somehow from ridiculous speeds, almost smashing into a hastily rejoining Tom Stevens. That's a fantastic move from Carlos Martin. So on, or not on board, should I say, or following along, this is the move for the race leader. Just look at the overspeed. They haven't even got onto the back straight proper, and he's already alongside with the DRS, with the battery. Of course, has that better traction out of the hairpin because of the fresher rubber, but just the pace is unbelievable.
Gets into P3, and so too is going to be very tight into that chicane as Jakob bails for the pit lane in response to the THRs then. So yeah, Fletcher does make it through and is right on the tail still of Loic Meunier. Fantastic to see our top 2 in the championship just
Past Loic Meunier. Meunier back down into 8th place, the champion, although he's got a 20-point advantage in the standings ahead of Sergio Fletcher as they go side by side into turn number 1. It has been a disappointing day so far, and again, if they finish as they do, the gap closes down negligibly. It'll be a tiny difference. It'll still be a very healthy advantage in the championship going into round number 7.
mercy of our 2 title protagonists.
Stevens, he's been up down all over the place today. Loic Meunier to the outside of Norbert Jakob, going to muscle his way through the inside, potentially banging wheel to side pod. Loic Meunier will work his way up into 5th place, surely. Yes, he does. That is aggressive stuff from the reigning champion, from the championship leader. And again, another driver who's been up and down all over the show here in Canada. Had some things go his way, had more than some things not go his way, but he does make his way through and up into 5th place.
Opportunity to get through to P2 now.
Well, this should be as easy as they come, shouldn't it? And he's going to get it done before they're even halfway down the straight. Carlos Martin with the DRS, with the battery, and with that mistake from Yaltine makes it an HRT 1-2 as we go on to lap 63 of 70. Get it. Is very, very close in the toe, though, with the DRS. He's going to have to go the long way around. At turn number 1, Jakob's going to be aggressive with the defense and chop him off. No way through. For Fletcher on this occasion, maybe a little bit of contact there. Just the lightest of kisses from the front wing of Fletcher to the rear of Jakob.
After winning in Jeddah, he's about to come back into play and win the Canadian Grand Prix.
For the second time in 2026, Maciej Winnick is a Grand Prix winner in GPVWC Super League. Carlos Martin makes it a historic 1-2 for HRT as well with a great drive. And Yaltine, the strategy wasn't to be in third place. Tom Stevens just about holds on to fourth place. It perfectly. It's Maciej Winnick who takes the win. A 1-2 for Holland Racing Team as they smash into each other with Carlos Martin second place doing their donuts, getting the screensaver, I'm sure, although maybe with a bit of a damaged car there. Yaltine rounds out the podium with Tom Stevens in fourth place. It's Loic Mounier fifth, Norbert Jakob in P6, Sergio Fletcher in seventh, Mark Schluter is eighth to cap up a pretty decent home performance for the True North squad. Aaron Vasquez, a fantastic drive from 27th on the grid up to 9th place. Alessandro Maggio rounds out the top 10 of Valet Esports. Well, a little brief overview there of what went down about a month ago in Canada. A pretty hectic race, a fantastic 1-2 for Holland Racing Team. At the end of it, Maciej Winnick taking the victory. Carlos Martin in P2. A little bit more off pace today, not quite there where you would expect them to be fighting. So we'll wait to see happen. But the warm-up session, the checker flag actually is out now. So it is done and dusted. We are moments away from getting ourselves racing. So we can look forward to it. It has been a long old time, but finally we are back here. It has been 4 weeks almost, but we are ready. Round number 7 of the 2026 GPVWC Super League season here at Imola.
Awesome. Yes, very exciting times, Ross.
I was trying to queue up the Super League graphic. Remco. We'll carry on, sorry.
Okay.
As you were saying, Ed.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, we're not quite at the end of the warm-up session. I think the cheer flag's out, but they're waiting for a few drives. So there's a couple of interesting comments in the chat. I think Kaikira9042 says, I was so confused when I opened the stream, saw lap 35 well, from Montreal. Yes, the highlights there. And Lorenzo Terovic says, I might go and just watch Bosnia. I don't know. I think that's a mistake. But anyway, we're moments away then from the start of our 7th round of the season in Imola.
There we go. We got back eventually. It's been 7 rounds and we still haven't figured out how to queue in the timing or the graphic, but we will get there eventually. Of course, a big thank you to Remco and Zeeuw on the cameras once again this evening. And it was also on our cameras for our podcast the other day. If you haven't checked that out, went up yesterday, our mid-season or kind of not quite mid-season review from Super League and Super Lights. Myself, Toby Davis, and Carlos Martin, bringing you our thoughts and feelings. Make sure you check it out. I'm sure there'll be a Formula Sprint variation of it as well. But here at Imola with Remco and Zeeuw on the cameras, as I said, you join myself, Ross McIntyre, Ed Hunter alongside me as we get ready after our break to bring back GPVWC Sim Racing. Round number 7, the Imola Grand Prix here. Well, funnily enough, San Marino Grand Prix, should I say, here at Imola. There we go, got the in. Let's have a little run through of the grid as we look forward to this one. It is, of course, a whole home pole position for Alessandro Maggio. Vice champion last year, Yaltine starts alongside. Sergio Fletcher is third. Dylan Fisher, P4 in that Lunark. Really solid qualifying from Dylan. Equally solid qualifying from two-time champion Yannick Bock in the sister car goes P5. Loic Mounier, our reigning champ, alongside him. Row number 4, Carlos Martin, second place last time out. And Alex Lahoe, the 2024 Super Lights champion, standing in this evening. Then we find Javi Ross and Mark Schluter running out the top 10. Then followed by Aaron Vasquez and Maciej Winnick. Great to win the last time out, but a disappointing qualifying from the HRT driver. Then it's an all-red Archer, row 7 in Jeffrey Fournier and Shea Hatch. They're followed by Tom Stevens, also well down the order from where he should be. And also well down the order from where he should be is Norbert Jakob. Lucas Marino in 17th. He's followed by a pair of Road to Formulas in Jose Soriano and Thomas Schwach. Out our top 20 this evening. A little bit further down the order, and it will be Patrick Magnussen, followed by Eris Masculi. Moritz Kropp is 23rd. Pavel Andrzejewski joins him on that FTR row number 12. A far few drivers. It's Tom van der Voort, Daniel Scott standing in TOP Esports this evening. Then it's David starting at the back for Super Venturi. Ed, this one could very much be a strategy race. Tyres we're using this evening are the C5s, the C4s and the C3s. It's the softest compound we have available, but it's difficult to overtake here at Imola. It could all come down to the pit lane.
Yeah, and indeed straight line speed down the start-finish straight as well. DRS will, well, not DRS, but the overtake mode, of course, will somewhat enable a few moves there into Tamburello. But yeah, the pits, making sure you pit the right time into clear air, you can set competitive laps, but also not having to visit the pits too many times, even though it's a relatively short pit lane. Yeah, you've got to get the balance right here. So as we see, we wait now for Lalu and our debutant Amirez to line up at the back row of the grid. Big opportunity, of course, for Alessandro Maggio on pole position, but needs to be wary of Jarl Tyne and his teammate Sergio Fletcher immediately behind him. Especially Jarl Tyne will be a major threat in this opening scene. Lights already on, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're about to get underway for the 7th round of the season in Imola. In Autodromo, Enzo Edino Ferrari roars into life then as they all slot into a line. Our top 5 on the run into Tamburello. Jarl Tyne pulls to the outside, trying to pass Alessandro Maggio. You can see Fletcher nearly making contact with Tyne into the first corner. We're seeing, I think Stevens and Jakob not making great starts. Stevens down to P16, Jakob down to P17. There we go. As we see behind Carlos Martin, a bit of side-by-side between Xavier Ross and Alex Lahoe. Lahoe drops to P9 now as he's trying to go back up the inside of the Adonis into Tosa, but not quite able to do so. But crucially, it is Maggio that has made a bid for freedom here, nearly 6/10 to the good ahead of Jarl Tyne. As we see side by side, that is Lucas Murno now threatening Tom Stevens, but it's Stevens that's gained the position into Piratella to get past the Brazilian back into the points paying positions. But this is going to be a long evening for Tom Stevens, with the 2 red Archers blocking his way. He's going to have to make a few overtakes, but also think his way through the pack as well. You can see the medium tyres on Tom Stevens' car, the 2 red Archers on the softs in front of him. So he'll be playing the long game, but hoping he's got plenty of straight line speed to his advantage. Tyne, interestingly, has gone for what looks to be the medium tyre compared to Maggio on the soft. So it's crucial that both of the valets really disappear from the rest of the pack. Jarl Tyne will be having to run a bit longer in this first particular stint. Apologies, by the way, we do seem to have lost Ross McIntyre. Hopefully, I did hear his connection was just dropping out ever so slightly. I was too polite to point it out to him while he was here. But hopefully we do get him back before too long. So I think we've only got, if I'm not mistaken, 2 hard tyre runners in the field. We've got Carlos Martin in P7, who's held on to the P7 he qualified. Nope, that's the mediums, I believe, for Carlos. So everybody on softs or mediums then throughout the field. No hard. Amirez, near 26, is on the hard tyre. So that is a genuine hard tyre runner there, as I believe we've just been rejoined by Ross McIntyre. So Ross, very clean start for Maggio, as the 2 valets in the Jarl Tyne starting to build a little bit of a gap to Dylan Fisher at the moment.
They are indeed, yes. Excellent time for my internet to decide it doesn't want to continue working anymore, but it is lap number 2 and I am back. But yeah, very clean start, as you said, Ed. Only the 1 driver in, Dan Scott, being out of the race on lap 2. That might be a record for us here at Imola, given how it normally goes down at Tamburello. But great start from Maggio, keeping that race lead. Already trying to build that gap as well. He's already broken the DRS length. Back to Yaltine, that 7/10 gap that he needs. So potentially sitting pretty good already. But again, varying strategies clearly at the top of the field. Alex Laho makes the move on Xavi Roast, nice and easy there up the outside, coming into Tamburello, just using that DRS to breeze on by in that TOP eSports car. But again, strategy, variation of starting tyres for our top 15. Of course, with GPVWC, our new rules going into this year, you don't need to start the race on the tyres you qualified on. You just need to use them at some point during the race. So everybody will have to use the softs, mainly those who started on mediums, because those who started on softs, well, they've already used them. But point still stands, so we'll keep our eyes on that one. I get the feeling this is going to whittle down to being a battle in the pit lane. There is Loic Mounier, your reigning champion, holding on to that P6, trying to put on pressure to Yannick Bock, one of the greatest we've ever had in GPVWC. It's been an okay season so far for Bock on his return, but this is certainly the best run he's had all year long, currently in P5, just behind his teammate in Dylan Fisher. Let's see if they can change things up. But heading on to lap number 3, Ed, it's still Maggio from Tyne from Fletcher, your top 3. Valet Esports sitting very pretty right now at their home race.
Yeah, indeed. So, of course, the big advantage that Valet and Lunark, because they got both their cars at the front. Yaltine can't really rely too much on any help from Stevens, because Stevens is down in P15 behind Shea Hatches. Oh, Mounier to the outside and splits the two Lunarks by clearing Yannick Bock there. He had to brake late. There wasn't a whole lot of space around the outside of the Tamburello, but Yannick Bock reluctantly had to give some space then to Loic Mounier. And Mounier now is pressing on to catch Fisher here. So this is not what Lunark had on the menu. They've got that pesky spark that is flicked into life here in the form of our reigning champion, who's looking to clear both of them in quick succession here. So now Fisher surely has got to try and escape up the road, because as I said earlier, our top 3 are starting to break away here.
They are indeed. Was yellow flags there in sector number 1. Looks like we have lost Ramirez, yes, on his debut night in GPVWC. Problems there. This is Tom van der Voort, who is not quite on fire, but certainly kicking a load of smoke out the back of that Drake racing car. Is that engine expired, or is he just working his way around slowly? Looks like it may be the latter for the Dutchman.
Well, both the Drakes went in with 40% left of engine life here, so Tom has got to be careful if that's the case. And there is a Ramirez in the garage, which indicates either a disconnection or some sort of incident on track that has terminated his race prematurely. Yeah, and his debut, of course.
Yeah, real shame for that one. Down and out before we started. As you were saying, though, yes, engines, of course. A big topic going into this one. We only have a handful of cars running full engines.
Mounier has cleared Fisher for P4, by the way. So what I predicted would happen has come to pass, as Maggio flirting with the gravel at the exit of Villeneuve there. So clearly feeling a bit of pressure from Tyne and Fletcher here, as Mounier has gone purple in the first sector.
Yeah, great spot there, Ed. Loic Mounier on the charge is the reigning champion. Back to the engines, though, as I was quickly saying. We've only got a couple of fresh engines out there this evening, one of which is the second THR car, which may well be Yaltine's car. Of course, even if they're in car 1 or car 2, that's not driver number 1 or number 2, as you would understand it from a team perspective. It's just whatever car they've been registered in for the logistics side of things, from the gaming system side of things with the R&D. So given that Yaltine is second and that Tom Stevens is down at 15th, I'm going to go on a whim and say that he is car number 2 for THR, and he's got a fresh motor in the back of that thing. We've also got fresh
the yellow camera on top of the roller hoop, even though he was second last season.
Yeah, so it must be car number 2. Yeah. There we go then. So Yaltine must be car number 2. So he's presumably got a fresh engine out there. I also think he's got a fresh engine out there because he's sticking with both of the Lunarks, or both of the Valet Esports cars, should I say, who are running fresh engines but are running much more healthy engines than the other THR car. New engines for both Lunarks, both Red Archers, one of the Fraser Tartan cars as well. Everyone else, they're running lots of worn stuff, a lot down to 40% odd. So we could be seeing some reliability issues towards the end of this race in terms of engine upgrades. The only one that's been upgraded coming into this one is the Supra engine. They've now got a level 3 engine mass development, so they will have a slightly lighter engine than everybody else, but not seemingly serving the Super Venturi squad right now. They are running a little bit down in the dumps as it stands. Their furthest forward driver, I believe, is Jukka-Pekka Lalu, I want to say. I'm just going to wait for the screen to take back round. It is Patrick Magnussen, so Magnussen ahead of Lalu there. Yeah, so not running too well at the moment are the Super Ventura guys. Lap 6 of 63 though. It is still Maggio from Tyne from Fletcher. They've broken away from the rest of the pack. Loic Mounier P4, he's got a healthy gap in front, a healthy gap behind Dylan Fisher, who, not sure if he's defending from his teammate or not. We'll wait and see. Alex Lahoud, great run from him up in 7th place. Of course, his Super League campaign last year wasn't particularly great, unfortunately. He had a lot of issues going on. I know Alex has had a lot going on in his personal life over the last year.
And Lahoud splits them on the softs. There we go. So Bock once more sort of boxed in by his teammate, if anything, and that allowed Lahoud to take advantage of.
It did indeed. I mean, yeah, talk about timing for Alex Lahoud as I was trying to go into some spiel about him. But yes, as I was saying, a bit of a difficult season last year for Alex. He's stepped away from full-time GPVWC competition for this season. Again, there's a lot going on in his personal life. But driving Owen McGorgy's number 27 this weekend, I want to say it's his first Super Lights appearance this season. And in the Super League even, no it's not, he finished 21st in Bahrain and DNF'd in Jeddah. But this is the first real run of what we're seeing, that what we know that Alex Lahoud can do. So up in 6th place, really good start from the Frenchman.
Yeah, really capitalised. I think we are just going back to live footage now, seeing him splitting the two Lunards, and now he wants to emulate what he saw his countryman and friend, it must be said, Loic Mounier did a couple of laps before. This is a replay of the move then. So Lahoud is lining up both the Lunards like ducks in a row. He's going to pull all the way to the outside. You could see that Bock got very early on the brakes, so he didn't want to hit his teammate, and Lahoud almost saw it coming before it happened, and was able to anticipate it and slot his car right to the outside and through onto the racing line, sort of before Yannick Bock could react to it there. So certainly Lunard, it's impressive because Mounier on a 70% engine has been able to pass both Lunards who went into the race start with 100% engines. I think Lahoud in the TOP had let's see, 40% engine himself. So it shows you that engine life is not the be-all and end-all, that sometimes a good setup and a quick driver with good racing instincts can definitely make the difference, even at a track like Emilia-Romagna here, or Enzo Edino Ferrari in Imola, which is known for being a bit tricky to overtake on and relying on fuel strategy. But the interesting thing that's happening here is that Mounier is keeping pace with our leaders. He did set the fastest lap a couple laps ago. Fletcher gets a bit too far over the curb at Variante Alta, and that loses him a couple attempts to Jarl Tyne, which puts Maggio under greater pressure, because the further back Fletcher is from his teammate to sort of assist him, the better things are for Jarl Tyne, because you don't have to worry about the two cars catching in the rearview mirror, as there's trouble in the middle sector somewhere out there. I think it's Lalu that's hit trouble, and he is retired from the race as the second of our Super Venturas.
Certainly is. Here we've got a replay of what happened to the Finnish driver Jukka-Pekka Lalu. That is coming down the racetrack into Aqua Minerale, and he's gone off the road, and then it's just gripped up as he tried to rejoin. It spun him into the barrier, and was there just the decision of, nope, you know what, I was running last, I've had enough. Looks like that was the case. It wasn't heavy contact with the barrier for Lalu, but down and out is the Finn. A real shame for him. He was, again, not running up where he normally should have been. Looks like the Super Ventura is a little bit off pace this evening, but we'll push onwards anyway. Lap 9 of 63. We're currently following Xavi Ross in the Adonis car. He's running P9, just behind Carlos Martin, his countryman, who, of course, second place last time out in Canada, and continuing to push onwards, and they are just behind Yannick Bock, in fact, as well. He's starting to drop a little bit backwards in this race. A couple of positions lost.
Tyne takes the lead.
He does indeed.
For Maggio, and he's fallen behind Fletcher as well, so clearly it's into Variante Alta. He's had an off-track moment or something, and yeah, one mistake has completely changed the picture. Now Tyne on the mediums can run longer than both the valets behind him.
Of course, it was a bit weird last year with the tyres, but it was actually better to sit behind the driver behind. So maybe this is beneficial for Fletcher, who's trying to go the long way round down at Tamburello. Oh my word, Sergio Fletcher! That is superb from the Spaniard to get around Jarl Tyne. Tyne's going to go on the offensive on the run down into Villeneuve. Can't quite find it. Wow, it is just kicked off at the front of this race. Jarl Tyne had the lead for all of about 20 seconds, and Sergio Fletcher flexing the muscle to get back in front. We'll get a replay of this one, of what happened. So this is coming through Variante Alta at the top of the hill. Was it just a better run, a small mistake potentially from Fletcher? Yeah, looks like he let him through.
Maggio made a mistake there. So
Yeah, Maggio.
I think Maggio maybe had cut the track or used a bit too much curve and exceeded track limits there, so maybe that's why he had to back out to avoid getting a penalty. But yeah, either way, a tiny mistake was all it took there. But Fletcher luckily was on the ball, used a bit of his, maybe a bit of push engine mix or push the pass to try and get to the outside. Went the long way around. There was just enough space, and Jarl Tyne thinks, fair enough, I'll live to fight another day, although he thought about a move back to the inside into Villeneuve. Now, of course, the problem is Fletcher may have just enough gap on time, but Maggio is not safe now because Moynier on the mediums will take advantage. 11 laps in, the soft tire runners are starting to struggle a bit here. Fletcher aside, and in comes Jarl Tyne back around the outside, so the slipstream was just too powerful. Tyne into first, Moynier into third, both the valleys losing a position.
Wow, what a chaotic couple of laps it has been at the front of this pack. The order in the blink of an eye goes Tyne, Fletcher, Mounier, Maggio as your top four. And what was running a pretty good start for the Valley Esports Italian squad is now turning into second and fourth. And I'm sure there'll be some angry words back at Team HQ. But it is last year's vice champion Jarl Tyne, winless in 2026 so far, who leads the way here at Imola for THR. And Loic Mounier up to P3. It's been a stunning drive from the champion so far. Let's see what he can do over the rest of this one. We're still very, very early doors. Only lap 11 of 63. Long old way to go in this one. So buckle yourselves down, get ready, get yourself a drink of choice, grab some popcorn. We're in for a treat here at round 7 of the GPVWC Super League season here at Imola, our first race back after the spring break, and it has been already an absolute treat. Got another replay for you here. This is Paweł Andrzejewski. What has happened to the Polish driver standing in for THR this evening and coming through the bottom end of the track down at Variante Alta, or Acqua Minerale, should I say. Just got it a little bit wrong, facing the wrong way ever so slightly. Does rejoin the track.
Too far on the curb to the outside, and then when he turned in, the rear just stepped out at him. So poor Paweł, who's actually gone in with, I think, the worst engine of anybody in the Fraser Tartan because he's only got about 33% then, so he's not got a lot of power down the straights, and the car is snapping around in the corners. So poor Paweł, the Polish driver, who was so competitive for Multiforce, runner-up in FS1 last season, of course, has now really just got to survive on another Super Sub appearance in Super League. He's also on the soft tyres, which will be fading the quickest at this point. Luckily, he hasn't got the engine issues of overheating issues that Van der Voort is suffering with 7 seconds down the road behind him. So he's not quite at the very, very back of the field, but certainly a tough race for the Scottish Fraser Tartan outfit. As now we see Vasquez, who's actually lost a couple of positions. Jeffrey Fournier has recently gotten through into P12, and now he's got the Englishman Shea Hatch giving him a bit of grief then in this battle for the points positions just outside the top 10. Now Vasquez will open the front of the rear wing here, and he's going to get back through into P12 down the start finish straight, as we see Schluter now is the next to pick off Xavi Ross and drop him down to P10 there. So Ross, another of our soft tyre starters that is starting to feel the tyres just decay a little bit and the grip loosening at this point in the race. Schluter takes full advantage. So outside of our top 3, we have got a couple, or top 4 I should say, we have got a couple of runners looking to get in the mix. Alex Lahoud, by the way, has kept his softs in very good nick, and he is now right behind Maggio, who is dropping about a second and a half behind Moynier here.
Soft seems to be running out, probably not far away from our opening stops for the soft shed runners. Looks like Daniel Scott, engine just expired on him on the grid, so a real shame for Dan. That's why he's down and out of the race, and why he didn't pull away from the lights when they went out. It's that's racing. Sometimes Lady Luck does not shine down in your direction. We'll follow this battle though. Lahoud with a very, very solid opportunity to make some moves with the DRS. The TOP car, it's pretty good. It's pretty good at the moment with the upgrade path. In fact, in comes Alessandro Maggio. So the first of our boxes, it's hardly surprising. We know that Maggio struggles a little bit with tyre management, but it is lap 14 out of 63 that Alessandro Maggio brings it in from third place, or fourth place should I say, and it's a set of hards. Now he won't get those to the end, Ed. There's definitely going to be another stop in it, but you'd expect potentially a hard soft if he's able to make these last a while?
Potentially, yeah, it really depends then. He's got to hope that he can get a bit of an undercut on these hard tires to get back some of those positions and maybe challenge Mounier for third again, but yeah, it's going to be difficult. In fact, actually, while that's been going on, Fischer has gotten back ahead of Alex Lahoud. So, Lahoud himself, now he's at the front of the train. Of course, he didn't get advantage of the sort of slipstream from Maggio because Maggio went in the pit. So he was a sitting duck for Fischer then. So the plan went right out the window for the Frenchman. And Fischer will say, oh, thank you very much. I'll just go clean around the outside then with the speed advantage that I now have. And full position goes back the way of the Lunark man. So some good news for Dylan Fischer, and boy, does he need a great result here. He's been threatening to get a great result for several rounds this season in a row, and now he's pulled a big gap, actually, to Dylan Fischer, to Alex Lahoud behind then, as we see Lahoud now having to defend from Bock by pulling to the inside very, very early. And Fischer now, with his personal best lap there, is 118.8, and here comes Bock doing the same thing to Alex Lahoud. So Lahoud is now starting to drop like a stone. He himself, just like the other Alex of Maggio, suffering from tyre wear issues, and that means Fletcher might not be in a great state either because he's dropped 2.8 seconds behind time and into the clutches of Mounier.
He is indeed. Of course, the Lunarks, two fresh engines in the back of both of their cars.
Saving
Do keep
for this
that in
moment.
mind. Yeah, certainly have been trying to use that here at Imola. And again, if you haven't listened to it already, you can go and hear my thoughts on Dylan Fischer and Yannick Bock on the GPVWC Super League and Superlights mid-season podcast.
Stop teasing us. Tell me some now. So get something fancy.
I said very nice things about the Lunark squad. I hold them in very high regard. But again, why don't you go listen to it and find out for yourself if you haven't done so already.
Commentating. That's why, Russ.
But if you at home haven't checked it out yet, once this race is done, of course, make sure you head over to the video section on the YouTube channel here at GPVWC. Check out myself, Carlos Martin, and Toby Davis's thoughts on Super League and Superlight so far across 2026. And of course, if this is your first time joining us here at GPVWC, hello and welcome. Hope you enjoy the fun. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of the above to help promote the series. Make sure you head down to the description, check out the website, check out the Discord, where you can find out how to get involved with the best of the best in sim racing. Into the pits comes Sergio Fletcher. Looks like a set of hards as well. So Valle, even with Maggio boxing a couple of laps earlier, keeping that strategy pretty similar for both cars. Sergio Fletcher is going to drop behind. No, he's going to stay in front of Alessandro Maggio, in fact. So he'll stay put, and now they can run long in this second stint. So they've laid their cards on the table. It's clear what they're doing. They're going hard for this middle stint and then presumably soft for the last. Everybody else seemingly wanting to go a little bit longer in this opening stint. So Valle Esports, it's bold for them to do this, I think, especially given no one else is following them in. It's very bold for them to get such a great qualifying, Ed, and then just go on and go, yep, here's the strategy, we're doing this, rest of you have fun. It can pay off. They could very much be in a solid position at about the halfway point, but right now it's too early to tell.
It is a bit early, yeah, especially because they haven't caught the back of the pack where the sort of traffic is. There's about 7.9 seconds between Fletcher and Andrzejewski. That's the next car, of course, but of course, if they're the only ones doing it, as we do see one of the true Norse, was that Yakab coming into the pits. No, it's Mark Schluter, sorry. And Alex Lahoud, as predicted, because Lahoud was really starting to lose ground in the race then. So they will both pit and surely be jumped. Che Hatch also making a trip to the pit lane for Red Archer. So that's Che's first pit stop in Super League, of course, given that he didn't get to the end of the first lap in Montreal. Lahoud does get back out of the pits before Schluter catches up to his pit box. Then out the exit of the pit lane they come. Through goes Fletcher, through goes Maggio. So Lahoud will be the next driver. And I think Alex Lahoud has actually bucked the trend and potentially, has he put on hards as well, or has he gone for another set of softs here? Certainly Schluter's gone for hards.
He has indeed.
Oh, so, hards for Lahoud, okay.
Yeah, hards for Lahoud. Took a second to update there, but we get there in the end. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. Hard seemingly being the more popular tyre. Of course, though, the Valle Esports guys did box earlier, especially Alessandro Maggio. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Fastest lap so far is Loic Meunier's. It's a 1:18.177 from the Frenchman, who is sat alone at the top of the fastest lap timing sheets at the moment. A little way off of the lap record proper around here. That's a 1:15.484 set by Lewis Hamilton back in 2020. I'm not sure what the GPVWC lap record is around this place because Menno didn't put the spotters guide together. Come on, Menno, what are you doing? Sort yourself out. But all due respect to
they put Bock ahead of Fisher while you've been moaning about
Menno,
yeah, exactly. So there we go. Yanni Bock deciding to get on the radio to Dylan Fisher and say, I feel a bit faster. Maybe they're wanting Bock to run a bit longer here, and they're thinking about pitting Fisher as soon as Ross pulls into the pits just ahead of Thomas Vack. So the Road to Formula will be released ahead of him, and Xavi Ross, who was struggling in that end of that first stint there, has potentially put another set of soft tyres on. So this is an aggressive stint from Xavi Ross. There goes a few more cars. There is Che Hatch coming out the exit of the pit lane just behind Tom van der Voort, who of course was at the very back of the field. And Van der Voort's issues created this gap for the leaders to pit into. Sergio Fletcher, by the way, less than 2 seconds behind Pavel Andrzejewski, so he's caught up to the back of the pack now, and that could be good news for Laho, who's now got a great chance to catch both him and Maggio.
Does indeed. So, eyes peeled on that one. Was that almost looked like Pavel Andrzejewski was on the grass there for a second? Maybe my eyes deceived me, but Fletcher pushes onwards.
Oh, Tyne pits from the lead.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
He's reacting then, so that's a very early stop off the mediums.
So, okay, that's interesting. Tyne's in earlier than I thought he was going to be.
Maybe seeing a gap here with the Fraser Tartans holding them up.
Could be. Let my brain do some processing for a second.
He's going
here,
for softs here from the mediums.
Really? Softs? Okay.
That's what we're seeing at the moment. Murno into.
Well,
Andrzejewski pits out of the way. Tyne remerges from the pits in 14th, so behind Fletcher, Maggio, and Laho. So he's given up a lot of track position here.
Indeed. Oh, what is... Softs. I am baffled by that. Clearly, Toby Davis's squad knows something that I don't in the commentary box. But wow.
Crucially knows something that Valet don't as well. As there's Tom Stevens now as the next car for Fletcher to pass, although he would have been until he just made that quite a legitimate move into Tosa on Moritz Kropp there, who seemed a little caught out on the medium tyre there. Yes, oh no, it's Jarl Tyne ahead of them. Okay, Jarl has jumped them. Sorry, I misread that completely. There we go. So it's Jarl making a crucial move on Moritz Kropp then. Yeah, Stevens is P7 now, incredibly, just by staying out there and running longer on the mediums then. So Stevens almost being brought slightly into play strategically. Might be with a chance of like maybe the lower end of the top 10 if you can really extend this stint and keep the lap times competitive, as now Fletcher crucially passes Kropp as well.
So through goes Sergio Fletcher.
It looks like Tyne on the mediums, not the softs, if I'm not mistaken, or have I misread that?
Oh, is that up there? Hang on, let me check the.
No, it's definitely the softs. Okay.
Yeah, that is definitely the softs for Alex Laho on the softs as well. No, Jarl Tyne is saying the mediums on the live timing for Jarl Tyne, so maybe we're getting an
now. Let's have another look at them. They're definitely red wall, so that's softs.
We could be having a bit of an R-factor moment here. That does happen on occasion. It says softs on the timing tower as well. I'm going to go for what we're seeing on screen rather than on race view.
Yeah, Laho on hards as well. And still stuck behind Kropp.
So you know what? Yeah, race view's doing a race view thing, and that's wrong. It's not an R-factor thing, it's a race view thing. Okay, that's fine. Good to establish that. So yeah, Tyne on softs. Again, I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. It's got me emotionally confused, the fact that he's gone onto the soft tyre.
Were you that invested in him going for hards?
Another set of mediums. I was expecting him to go along and go medium, soft. Like in my head, I was like, that's the perfect strategy. There you go. No, medium, soft. And he's thrown it all up my head. Loic Meunier comes in from the race lead. Yannick Bock doesn't inherit. Both Lunarks going long in this opening stint, it would seem. Lap 21 of 63. And your reigning world champion brings it in to the box. Let's see what tyres that the Frenchman will go on to in that Sparks next car. Goes up on the virtual jacks, and it hasn't updated for us. Isn't that lovely? So we'll wait to find out when those tyres refresh themselves and go back into date. Again, I'll check the race view.
Tyne making another move on Masculi this time in the second of our Adonises. So Tyne into P9.
Yeah, moves there from Yartine. Looks like that coming out is Lokmania on the mediums according to Race View, but again, that's wrong, so could be...
I see mediums on screen, and he's got that
wrong.
ahead of Laho, crucially, so...
Yes.
But behind Moritz Krop, so Krop really costing Laho a chance to jump Mounier here.
Yeah, so big things there for Lokmania. And again, gets in front of his countryman, gets in front of his good friend in Alex Laho, trying to get in front of Moritz Krop as well. On the run into the left-hander. And that is a brave move. That is a lovely move up there to get through at the turn 9. Piratella.
More mistake for Krop. Krop nearly loses it, so Laho will get through. And you would expect as well.
Yeah, Sleuth's got to go as well. Yeah, into Variante Alta. That's nice and easy. Gets it done.
Yeah, there we go. So Mark Schliff very much on the ball there. You don't get free positions like that every day. Free mistakes there are very rare from these top drivers, even at a demanding circuit like Imola then. So looks like Fletcher and Maggio have now cleared Soriano, but Tyan has just cleared Patrick Magnussen. So Tyan is passing car after car, but of course he needs to, because this has to be an aggressive stint. So he's relying on the slipstream rather than being held up in traffic then in order to make these places. He's gained another one. Pushkay very much moved to the inside there, didn't make it too hard, knew it wasn't really worth fighting Tyan. He would just lose time himself going into Villeneuve there. So yeah, Tyan now with a clear 10-second gap to his teammate Stevens, who I suspect, well, similar to Pushkay, have not a lot of incentive to hold him up then. Fastest lap just set by Xavi Ross, who himself has pit for the sods and come out in P18 behind Che Hatch.
It's all a change then for these opening stints, and we'll keep our eyes peeled. Again, very much expecting it to be a two-stopper race.
I tell you what's interesting, by the way, Ross, is that both Luna and HRT are doing exactly what we saw HRT doing in Canada, where they did the two-stop and everyone else did the free-stop. And in comes, speaking of which, in comes Bok. So this is sort of roughly where we expected. A lot of the mediums that were running a bit longer would start to pit then. And indeed, in comes Bok and Martin and Aaron Vasquez.
In there will come then. Bok, again, we'll have to wait for it to update it. Hasn't
Vasquez very close.
Very tight.
And he hits Martin!
Vasquez, Martin, and was that Vasquez coming together with him? The two countrymen have collided in the pit lane. Chaos here in Imola, and there's no front wing for Aaron Vasquez. He'll be sat there a long old time getting that repaired. Some people may have World Cup fever. I've got GPVWC fever, baby. We are so back here in Imola. That was chaos there in the pit lane, though. Who was at fault for that one? Let's follow round. Is that Martin? No, Norbert Jakab's out of the race? What's happened there?
No, he isn't. He's P17, so that was just telling his back to just before the start. But yeah, you could see even the engine overheating there as you see the tail end of that. So this almost feels a bit like an iRacing thing where he thought he could phase through the car in front of him, did Vasquez. Yeah. And that was not the case, sadly. So they come in. You can see Martin has got the pit box space. You can see there is Bok being released just behind. So Bok luckily doesn't make contact with Vasquez. Vasquez turns in, sort of does not expect it at all. And by the time he realizes the rear tire is gone. So I think he may have unfortunately taken Carlos out of the race there. So Martin, after second last time out, will be bitterly disappointed with that, because there was nothing he could have done to avoid that.
And no, you're exactly right, Ed. He's gone in from his iRacing perspective and just tried to phase through the car in front. And of course, an half back to two, our simulator a choice here at GPVWC. The cars don't phase in the pit lane. It's still a solid object. There's no ghosting. And I think Aaron is just, he's either forgotten or not thought about it and just gone to go and do it. Again, when you're the highest rated iRacer in the world, that's going to come naturally to you. And a bit of a red face moment for the Spaniard as a result, and it has put Carlos Martin out of the race as a result. What a shame. The Spaniard P2 last time in Canada and was on for a fairly solid finish this evening as well.
As well, big for the teams, because HRT were leading by a long way now, and now big opportunity for the chasers behind to catch him.
Wow, what a moment that was. What a schoolboy doesn't seem like the right way to describe that error from Vasquez, but
you had to go Schluter! Oh my goodness me, great save, but he nearly takes out Alex Laho, and it's just avoided by Fischer, who himself takes to the grass on exit as he understeers off. So Schluter luckily will hold on to P8, but my goodness, just the mistakes piling on each other. So I think Mark just got a little bit too far to the outside and over the curb, and so lucky he didn't take out Laho as well. But Fischer will surely now have a great run on him down the start-finish straight on those softer tyres.
What is going on here at Imola? This is absolutely insane. And I won't call it GPVWC at its finest, because quite frankly, it hasn't been.
I mean, I'm amazed there were no collisions there.
No, certainly, somehow, anyway. There goes Dylan Fischer with the DRS pass.
Milneck on the grass!
Oh, look at Maciej trying to squeeze it around the outside. Can he hang on? They come together, and spinning goes Munich and Schluter. The Polish and the German go round, and they're still there. Through comes Xavi Ross to make it 3 wide on the run into Villeneuve. This is absolutely insane. Who set off the grenade here in Emilia-Romagna? Through goes Xavi Ross. Winnick takes the position ahead of Schluter despite the contact. Hopefully no damage on either car. Just behind them is Tomasz Bach in the road to Formula as well. Tom Stevens and Norbert Jakab following issues for the Hungarian. But guys, this is Super League. You're supposed to be good at this. Calm down, everybody, please.
My goodness, what a difference a month in between the 2 races makes, because the Holland racing team have had the worst minute of they've gone from 1-2 in the previous race in Montreal to having one car smashed into and taken out of the race in the pit lane, the other nearly taken out in a spin. So Schluter has 2 spins in quick succession. Fischer just about has his wits about him. Lucky he isn't taken out as well in all of that, and Fischer sensibly waits for the opportunity to get back up the inside. Milneck, well, he will argue he wasn't given any space from Mark Schluter here.
Wheels as well. They touched wheels on the run in and then just locked into each other.
Just messy.
Lucky. Yeah, lucky they got away with that.
Milneck taking a lot of risks there, and you have to say that was nearly both HRTs retiring in a race they can't afford to retire, especially as THR are leading with Yartine at the moment, and Stevens is slowly making his way back up the pack now. P12 at the moment behind Che Hatch.
What a crazy, crazy race we are being witness to, and maybe not in a good way, but it's certainly entertaining to say the least. Welcome back, GPVWC. Oh, how I have missed you, you beautiful, beautiful thing.
Lovely comments in the chat, by the way. Massimiliano Riboli says, "Mum, pick me up now, I'm scared." James Hunt says, "Who's flipped a switch in the last 5 minutes?" And Irati Koi says the drivers are losing their minds. Oh, and Mark Schluter's apparently out of the race after that. So I think
is he?
Frustration seeping in, or maybe there was a separate incident, but that's a huge shame for Mark Schluter because he was looking good. Up until that spin, he was very solidly in the top 7 there.
Schluter, of course, is a proven race winner at the Super League level, but a bit of an off year so far. Yes, second back in Malaysia in that absolute chaotic race for True North, where they took 2nd and 3rd, but it's not been quite going the Germans' way so far this season. And hopefully he can get back on the right foot. His teammate Norbert Jakab has had 2 podiums to his name already. Schluter, even with the 1 podium, a lot of finishes outside the points or down the points. Now a DNF here as well this evening. A real shame for him. And hopefully moving forward he can work his way back through. There was an all through Ed Hunter.
I thought I saw some gravel being kicked up. That might have just been some sparks throwing me off a little bit. The other thing I noticed is that Moynier last lap was catching Maggio for 3rd by about 9/10 that previous lap. So Moynier has got the hurry up because he's almost been pushed along by Bock on the soft tyres, who could well be a threat to both of them. So we've got Bock on the softs, Moynier in the mediums, and Maggio on the hard. So 3 entirely different strategies about to combine. As old was that Fletcher, I think, getting a wheel on the grass there, and he's dropped out 10 seconds behind Yartine. So we saw Maggio lose the lead at Variant Delta early in the race, and now it's his teammate that's made a similar mistake. So Maggio now will get a bit of slipstream, but what do Valle do here? They've got both cars under attack from the reigning champion.
Here we go then, Mounier, he's got a good run, should have the DRS as well. This is an opportunity if we ride on board with the Frenchman. Can he find anything on Alessandro Maggio? Looks to the inside, a little bit too far back. Maggio! And onto the gravel, almost catching the pair of them. And there is the mistake from Alessandro Maggio, who is looking so strong so far this evening. But a small error drops him down to 5th, now 6th, as Dylan Fischer's going to slide on by in the Lunart car. Maggio, a little error, a bit too much speed into Tamburello, and it's all come undone, and now he just has to sit back and rest. But Alex Laho is right on him as well, the 2024 Superleague champion, who did many a battle with Maggio during that season. Wow, just unbelievable action here at Imola. it's good to be back, isn't it? Let's have a replay of that one. Again, I think it was just too much speed from Alice on the run into, ran it too wide, lost the rear. Alice, short for Alessandro, isn't it? I think that's what you call him anyway. But ALES, not Alice, ALICE. But too much speed from Maggio, and just rotating around him.
Well, he wasn't expecting Fletcher to be that close to him, was he? As we see Maggio desperately trying to warm the title. I know he's getting defensive against Laho then, so the two, Alex and Alessandro, about to do battle then for P6, and you've got to think Laho's got a good chance. Fisher, by the way, fastest lap of the race, 1:17.5. So he's rapidly catching up to his teammates. Here we go to the outside, goes the TOP of Alex Laho, and he's back into the top 6 now. So this is the Laho we very much have been seeing all of 2026 in Formula Sprint 1, really now excelling in Super League, which is he's really right where he and TOP belong, it must be said then. So big threat now to Fisher because Laho on the harder tyres will be able to go much longer in this stint than some of the soft runners ahead of him. Be interesting to see with time, with that 11-second gap to Fletcher now, if he's going to extend this soft stint or not, or if he's going to again pit aggressively and try and pull the trigger here in this second phase of pit stops.
Is Alex Laho the spark that TOP needed? It's been a bit of an off-season for the English squad so far. Of course, Omagorgi did get a podium on the road in Australia at the opening round, but after taking out the Alpine was penalised post-race on the final lap. And it's been Shimon Frelick, he's not been enjoying his time in the new car with the new regulations. He just hasn't quite gelled with it yet. Some points finishes, but nothing amazing. And Magorgi, again, he's in the top half of the field, or in the top half of the point, should I say. But it's not what you'd expect from drivers of Magorgi.
Here comes Mounier.
Here comes Luke Mounier, meanwhile, to the outside. This will be pretty easy on Sergio Fletcher. Gets it done for the braking zone. Up to second goes the reigning world champion. And the Frenchman is on the charge. But of course, we've got to remember, Jarl Tyne is on the softs, but 11.7 ahead as it stands at the front of this pack. So Tyne is doing something very different to the rest of the field, and we'll have to wait to see if it pays dividends as we quickly approach the halfway marker in this evening's affair. Lap 30 of 63 at Imola in round number 7 of the GPVWC Super League season in 2026. Here is Che Hatch, who's having a much better run of things than he did in Canada, his GPVWC Super League debut last time out. I think it lasted about 3 laps, unfortunately, for him. But doing a very, very solid job in the Red Archer car. Of course, 2 fresh motors for the Red Archer squad, but Che's doing a great job, and it's great to see somebody who's coming into Super League. He's not got a massive amount of GPVWC experience, does Che, but he's doing a very good job this evening, and is currently set some very solid points at the end of it.
Yeah, he's typically Laho's teammate, actually, at the Hugh Performance squad. They've got on the podium in the reverse crew race, very mixed weather reverse crew race at Montreal then. So Che Hatch, he's really, really good fun to watch. I've been commentating on him for a number of years in endurance racing, as we look at, defensive move there from Fletcher to move to the middle of the road into Tamburello to stop Yannick Bock on the softs from challenging now. So yeah, Fletcher, he's already lost out to Mounier here, but Bock, of course, has got to really get the hurry up here before those softs start to fade then. So we are just coming up to half distance now in this 63 lap race, lap 31 of 63 then, and the strategies, those on the aggressive strategies, no, they cannot afford to be held up here. So Yannick Bock could get very aggressive here if Sergio Fletcher chops him again, as we see yellows in the final sector. So somebody has hit trouble somewhere in the field. Oh dear, it's Tom van der Voort. We saw him struggling with his engine. It looks like he's lost his rear right wheel in a big crash coming out of Rivazza 2.
Down and out of the race as well, but yeah, looks like, just dropping the rear, maybe caught the curb or the gravel or something. Let's go through with him on the replay. That's Rivazza 2 there. Oh, it bites back at him. Yeah, interesting. Bit of a weird accident there. Lost the rear, but not massively. And then the front just bit, and then it's a one-way ticket to the barrier. Kind of an oval racing style incident almost from the Dutchman. With right on board with him. Yeah, rear goes, tries to catch it, and then the front just bites.
It was that second hit that took the rear tyre off, because I think he was aiming to go bang into the pit lane up to that point, and he realized, the rear tyre didn't survive.
Well, shame for Van der Voort. Makes it 22 left in this race. Now, Moritz Kropp is our last runner out there on the field at the moment. There, though, is your race leader as we do cross over the halfway point in Jarl Tyne, the Norwegian, on the alternate strategy, though, on those soft tyres. gap starting to come down a little bit with Meunier. It's now 11.3, was 11.7 about a couple of laps ago. So we'll wait to see what THR are doing with Tyne. Of course, winless so far this season is last year's vice champion. He's had a very rotten run of luck. So many incidents which haven't been his fault that's led to a fair few DNFs. He currently resides P8 in the championship. Does have 2 third places to his name from Bahrain and last time out in Canada. A great drive in Canada, of course, from him. But the HRTs were just on another level that day. But maybe the Norwegian trying to turn the fortunes this evening as we quickly approach the halfway mark in the season. There's only 16 rounds of course in GPVWC. On one hand, it feels
Fletcher, by the way, into P3.
Yes,
so Meunier now, rather than focusing on chasing down Tyne on the mediums that should be more durable, he's got to defend from Yannick Bock then. So that plays into Tyne's hands even more. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That lack of a win so far this season really stings for Tyne, and that's clearly why he's been practicing so much for this one. Got in the front row, and once he's gotten the lead, he's really nailed the strategy so far in this one. It's just whether the softs can last for the stint length that he needs to build here. In the case of Maggio, he's found that's not been the case. He's already pitted off the hards now to go, I think, back to the medium tyre.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what the strategy is going to unfold and do. Great to see Yannick Bock in the podium positions and potentially fighting like Meunier for second place as well. Yannick, of course, has returned this year after a couple of years hiatus from sim racing, the 2-time champion, one of the true greats that we've had in GPVWC. Kind of vanished off the face of the earth for a couple of years and just came back. There was no big hurrah. It was just Luna went, oh, here's our drivers for next year's. It's Dylan Fisher. Oh, and Yannick Bock as well, by the way. And so far, Lunark they've done well with the new regs, as in comes Jarl Tyne actually from the lead of the race. So that is going to promote Meunier up into P1. Of course, he was on the soft tyres. Is he going to go hards or mediums to the end? I'd presume so. We'll wait to see what tyres the THR car is going to put on as he goes up on the virtual jacks. And it hasn't updated for us, so he'll be, for us anyway, on the same set of softs. It might take a couple of corners. That sometimes happens. It's our Factor 2. It's an old simulator. It has many, many quirks, even if the driving experience is quite good, to be fair. Mediums, apparently, for Jarl Tyne, and we'll just wait to confirm that as he flashes through.
Oh, no, it's soft, sorry. It looks like another set of soft. So it's because THR have got the yellow bit in the middle of the rim, which is kind of...
Is he 3? I mean, obviously he's 3-stopping, but...
very aggressive. If he loves these softs, then why not? And this is Bock, who's now taken the lead of the race. As you see in the background, Fletcher being picked up by Dylan Fisher. But yeah, very tidy, clinical move from the double Superleague champion Bock on the reigning champion Meunier. So good to see, as you very rightly alluded to, Ross, our two titans doing battle for the lead of the race then.
Certainly are. Yannick Bock, of course, a long while since he's taken a race win here in Super League. He's not yet got himself onto the podium so far this season. Only entered 4 rounds, had a bit of a mess in Japan where he got caught in an incident, but some very solid points-paying positions. And he's been working his way back into form. Lunark have taken a step forward as well with the upgrades coming in last time at Canada, and indeed this time as well. And a fresh engine for Bock this round. So is this the time that a true great of sim racing rediscovers his form? Of course, he's had a lot of time out, had a couple of kids and all of that. Don't know why you do that personally. I'd value your sim racing legacy over having a child myself, but that's what he wants to do, fair enough. But the German is back to the front. But again, there's lots of things going on. He still has to make a pit stop. We'll wait to see what Jarl Tyne's going to be doing with his alternate strategy on the 3-stopper. He's down in P8 as it currently stands, and the THR driver does look fast this weekend as well. So Bock, of course, still yet to box. Well, again, I would say expect a stop onto the mediums, the hards, to the end of the race, but frankly, Jarl Tyne's off on one, so who knows what's going to be happening.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the pin came out just ahead of your cap, so THR called it right, because not only have they got a clear piece of track, but also the next car up ahead is his teammate Tom Stevens. So yes. Stevens, by really strategically bringing his way into this one, has now become a huge asset to Jarl Tyne, because that's a free position for him. Of course, Valet kind of pit Maggio out of the way because he was struggling so much. So Maggio is now P17. Been a slightly longer stop. He has just set the fastest lap of the race and gone back to the soft tyre. So I think Valet have tried a bit too late to switch to Jarl Tyne's strategy, and now Maggio has quite a lot more track position to make up here. Tyne sets the fastest final 2 sectors of the race. We look at Vasquez as one of the Adonis cars, as Ross coming into the pits for his second stop, just in front of this pack. So now the sole remaining Lion GP of Lucas Murno, about to see Aaron Vasquez, just back out. I think Vasquez, after the contact in the pit lane, playing it a little bit more safer out there, understandably so, because that was a bit of, as you rightly say, egg on the face moment. Murno shattering Thomas Vack, who's actually himself had a very, very clean race in the road to Formula, just shattering Che Hatchland, who has now got himself, at least for the time being, into the top 10. I did see, I believe it was the other Red Archer, Jeffrey Fournier, did decide to sort of undercut a number of laps ago and switch to the soft tyre, but he's in 22nd and last, quite a way off the pack then. So I think Fournier may be hit trouble somewhere, and that was why he had to pit sort of a bit out of sequence to everybody else. But Yartine then continuing 117.5 his last lap in a purple middle sector once again. So yeah, the thing is, we thought, Tyner's going to stroll and make his way through the pack, and then he side through everybody in the first stint. And I think he's just decided that's what he feels the most comfortable doing. So now it's just a matter of, can everybody else react to that? As there we see Lucas Murno finally overtaken by Vasquez into Rivazza 1. As we see yellows in the final sector. Is that Andrzejewski? That may be his hit trouble. Milnek, by the way, is just past Laho for P5. So Milnek actually having a good part of this stint, as it looks like Andrzejewski going a little bit slowly coming out of the Variante Alta.
Must have been a spin or something like that for Andrzejewski. Let's have a replay and see what happened. That's a little bit more than a spin. That's going straight on. He's that very, very early. Was there contact to do?
Maggio was making a move on him, I think. Maggio to the inside. Andrzejewski, just hits the rear wheel. So he will argue Maggio didn't leave a lot of space for him there.
Yeah, that one could be going to the stewards, to the disciplinary committee here at GPVWC, post-race potentially anyway. But a shame for Pavel. He's been having a pretty solid affair so far this evening, and just been putting the laps in. So a shame to see him getting into that incident. He'll drop down to P20 as a result of that one, and now a couple of seconds behind his teammate in Moritz Kropp, the FTRs. The team has been struggling so far this season. We've not seen many good solid
He's also struggling. Laho, who's been passed by both THRs while we've been looking. And now Milnek, next target for Tom Stevens, who's pulling Yartine almost along at this phase of the race up the inside. And it looks like Milnek didn't even really defend the inside on the run into Tamburello, because he knew there wasn't much he could do to defend. As look, into the pits coming Cab and Hatch as well. So they're going to drop down the order. The other thing that's happening is Fischer is now right behind Loic Moynier, as we see Stevens, the rear, just threatening to step out for a Villeneuve, but well controlled by our multiple vice champion Tom Stevens then. Runner-up in, I think, both 2023 and 2024, of course, as we see is Fischer and Moynier disputing second position. But of course, even if it becomes a Lunark 1-2 on the road at the moment, strategically, you would think the likes of Tyne is still very much beyond Tyne then, that's looking to re-emerge in the lead, at least on track for the final stint once these guys pit for their final time.
Yeah, of course, Tyne does have to box again, though, probably. So who knows, quite frankly, who's got the net lead of this race? It could be anybody. We're following Dylan Fischer, who is right in the tracks of Loic Mounier. I think he's going to be too far back for a move down into Tamburello. Will get the DRS, though, try and dump the battery, see what he can do. Look at the overspeed from the Lunark. He's going to have to go the long way around, but gets it done into Tamburello, and it is a Lunark 1-2. Here at Imola, Yannick Bock from Dylan Fischer. Those two have obviously fresh engines, yes, and some fresh upgrades, but they've both put in mighty drive so far this evening. And on lap 39 of 63, is that a confirmation of the result, or is there more twists? Are there more turns awaiting us this evening? We'll have to wait and see. And knowing sim racing, knowing R Factor leagues, knowing GPVWC, there's probably more shocks in store for us this evening. If you have been enjoying the action and you haven't already, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of the above, because we've certainly been enjoying it in the commentary box. Myself, Ed Hunter, Ross McIntyre, myself, Ross McIntyre, Ed Hunter alongside me. Got it right there in the end. But yes, it's been a fantastic evening so far, Ed. And again, more twists and turns in store for us, I am sure. But it's now a Lunark 1-2, Bock from Fischer, and we wait to see what is going to unfold over the latter phases of this race.
Yartan is now that him and Stevens both got past Milnex. Tom Stevens almost immediately led him through, I think, into Temporello. So Tyne now 2 purple sectors to his name, although Maggio goes even quicker in the sector 2. He just passed Eras Masciuli not too long ago for P13. He's now right by catching up to Philip Buschke. But yeah, this is the swap then with the two THRs, and may have even been just over the start-finish line. So yeah, it was a clear run for Yartan. Stevens loses as little time as possible, tucks back in himself, and now Yartan continues on his way and has taken, I think, a good 2 seconds, I think, out of Sergio Fletcher on this lap ahead of him. Fletcher, of course, on the harder tyres, hoping that he can use the stink length to sort of battle against Yartan and sort of gain a pit stop on him that way. But at the moment, Valet being caught hand over fist here. And it could even be that with Bock being caught by about half a second lap by Tyne, it could be very, very close once they have to pit off their softs as well. So this is sort of turning into a battle of tyre life. How long can you keep the softs alive around here before they just drop off a cliff and turn to jelly, essentially? And if we look at track temperatures as well, very high, 53.9 degrees Celsius, air temperature 31.2 degrees.
It is warm, and it is going to rip those C5 soft tyres to shreds, I'm sure. So there's still more pit stops. There's still more drama. Hopefully no one does a Vasquez and iRacing's it. Again, egg on a face moment for the Spaniard. But I'm sure he'll recover. Yeah, and Carlos, I can imagine, is pretty unimpressed. Aaron is a good friend of his and does drive for PZZW down in Super Lights, where he's dominating the championship standings so far. PZZW also part of the NetRex and the TOP ecosystem that those guys have. So not always great to crash into your team boss, shall we say. Carlos Martin, of course, team boss in the NetRex group, but I'm sure they'll recover and move on. But Carlos, perhaps not a happy boy. And knowing Carlos, probably shouted something very, very loudly as well. He is painfully Spanish in that regard. We'll follow Lando Moinio, though. Currently P3 trailing Dylan Fisher in second place, who I know I keep mentioning the podcast, do go and watch it, but I did speak very highly of Dylan in our podcast with myself, Toby and Carlos the other day. And my thoughts on Dylan as a driver very much mirrored by Caitlin Penny. We both hold him in very, very high regard. We think he's a really good driver with a lot of talent and a lot of potential as well. And Caitlin's gone on the record to say she doesn't think a race win is very far away. We're currently running second, Ed. That I want to say would be his best finish ever in a GPVWC Super League.
Ooh, there's time past Fletcher. That looked fairly straightforward, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty easy. Again, DRS before you even get to the braking zone. It's textbook stuff, but it works. God bless modern Formula Racing with the rear wing flappy thing that goes on. But yeah, Fisher having a great run of things. I mean, both the Lunark cars are running well, but Ed, they do have to box again. Again, the strategies are all over the place. We've got both Lunark cars and we'll probably need to box again. Time will definitely need to box again. This could be Loic Meunier's. See the drivers making their way down to the bottom of the Aqua Minerale section.
Sorry, Russ, I got interrupted.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So we had some ambience, some atmosphere going on, listening to the cars going by and all. But what I was trying to ask you before you got interrupted, Dylan Fisher, as I was saying, doing a great drive, but both Lunarks need to box probably. Jarl Tyne needs to box. For me, this is shaping up to be Loic Meunier's.
Could be, but it depends really how if everyone else is struggling with tyre wears. It looks like Fisher coming in as we seem to have a stream issue on Iron Dross, so we're down to the timing screen there. But yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying. Fisher just not only turning into a brilliant driver, he's shown really great pace ever since he was runner-up to McGorgy in Super Lights in I think 2023. I remember commentating on that finale. But yeah, Fisher, just every time you talk to him, just the most humble, hardworking, really comes across incredibly well. So as a personality, as well as a driver. So I think a lot of people may well be cheering him on. And in fact, Luke Mitchell was cheering both of the Lunarks on, and Bock in particular. And it's interesting because, of course, let's not forget, Fisher moved over to let Bock through early in the race. So he didn't let his ego get in the way. He was playing the team game. That's worked out beautifully for Bock. I wonder if that's going to pay dividends come the end of the race if they're in a direct fight with the likes of Jarl Tyne and Moinio.
This is all up in the air. There's 20 or so laps left to run here at Imola, and we have no idea who's going to be on the top step of the podium
How is
come the end of it.
P5 after what happened in the pits and just change front wing?
Yeah, look, as I've been saying, welcome back GPVWC. Oh, how we have missed you, you sweet, sweet thing, because once again, even if the on-track action has not been the most outrageous we've seen, yes, it's Imola, it's difficult to overtake, but the story of this race, what we've been seeing unfolding, it is just masterful. In comes Bock for his final pit stop. Look, like I said, in mediums there for German. And yes, like Meunier in as well. And he'll be coming off for his final stop as well. So he's lost time there overall, actually. So I thought he was going to try to get to the end. He's going soft, though, to the end of the race. So, again, we'll wait to see. Tyne leads on softs, needs to box. Stevens on mediums, needs to box. Vasquez on mediums, needs to box. So it is Yannick Bock that is in the net lead of this race. And it's saying he's on softs as well. I thought it was a set of mediums I saw. No, that looks like a set of softs. So I tell you what, this very much could be Yannick Bock for the first time in a couple of years taking the race victory. I mean, why am I saying this? We're still 20 or so laps from the end.
Well, he's got to stretch Lee soft as well, whereas Tyne will pit a bit closer to in for his next set, and then he'll have to overtake from behind. And he's got, of course, Stevens acting as a buffer at the moment, running a bit longer on the mediums, about 6 seconds behind.
Munier's dropped behind Fischer as well on that pit stop, so Lunark have executed those stops really, really well. And this is shaping up to be a very interesting end. But right now, for me anyway, it is Yannick Bock, the two-time champion, who leads this race in the net. Lap 45 of 63 here at Imola. And it is anyone's guess if that's going to change. Yannick Bock, again, has not won a race in a long old time. I want to say probably 2023 was the last time we won a race. So I'll go and find that one out for you. But what a story we could be watching here, Ed. Again, the story of this race in general has been absolutely superb. We've been treated to, well, a treat, for lack of a better term. And as I said earlier, there may be World Cup fever going on for some people. I've got GPVWC fever.
I'll tell you who's now suffering a bit out there is Maggio, who undercut everybody by going for the softs and has now just been passed by Dylan Fischer for P4 then, as we see Jakab in the sole remaining True North getting past Moritz Kropp into the run into the first corner. Moritz Kropp, I think a couple of seasons ago, did finish a P4 here. I forget if it was for Fraser Tartan or if it was for the predecessor team of Fraser Tartan, but either way, he's still got some good memories from this place. But now he's under attack from Jeffrey Fournier in what is now the leading of our Red Archers here. So it's interesting. So all of our front runners on sort of mediums or softs, and then Lehoux backwards, we see a couple trying to risk it on the hards and get to the end then. But they're surely going to effectively be overcut by those on the softer tyres, as we see Stevens coming into the pits. That's fascinating. Mounier side by side with Maggio. Maggio late on the brakes into Rivazza, both on the soft tyres, but Moinier's much fresher at this point in time. Fletcher behind, catching up. So Maggio trying to help his teammate here.
Certainly is indeed, as here comes Meunier to the outside, almost banging wheels down the main straight between the Frenchman and Alessandro Maggio. Maggio will duck back to the inside but can't find it. It's now Valley Esports down to 5th and 6th. The reigning champ up to 4th place. Have just checked the last win that Yannick Bock took in GPVWC Super League was indeed back in 2022. That was Singapore, on his way to his second title, which he took away from his brother Leon, and he's not been seen since. And then, of course, returning this season, the German is looking for a very, very historic night here at Imola. There is your race leader currently in Jarl Tyne, still yet to box towards the end of the race. He should be coming out, I want to say, about 3rd, maybe 4th. If
he's got a big gap,
stop.
look, 20 seconds to Yannick Bock then, and then 24 to Fischer. So it's kind of on the bubble whether he's going to come out ahead or behind Fischer here.
Either way, he'll certainly be right up there with the race leaders and will be on fresh sets, or a fresh set of rubber as well. So it could have been a blinder from Jarl Tyne. Philip Pushka looking to the inside there, coming to the double right awkward section. That is Aqua Minerale, but can't quite find the move on the driver in front, which will be Shea Hatch. Again, Chehash doing a great job. Would love for him to get some points this evening, but he's got Lucas Murno and then Xavi Rose to contend with if he does want to get said points. But Pushka looking for a way through. There is Maggio now into the pits for his last stop. Lap 47 of 63, about 15 left to go in this one. And what a race it has been. What a story we are being told here in GPVWC Super League. We're still waiting for Jarl to box from the race lead. It's Yannick Bock in second, his teammate Dylan Fisher in P3, and then Loic Meunier just behind them in fourth place as well, with a bit of clear air in front of him. It's all eyes on last year's vice champion, the race leader in Jarl, the Norwegian. When does he come in? When does he make that call to go on to that final set of tyres? And then where does he come out? What's the tyre life going to be like? What's the pace going to be like on a different compound as well? It's all up in the air. It could be Bock, it could be Fisher, it could be
Bock's
Meunier, it could be Don. Bock is catching him currently. I genuinely don't know who's going to win this race. They all could crash into each other and Sergio Fletcher could win it. I mean, it's all up in the air. This is, I mean, what a treat, as I've been saying. This is incredible. But there's 4 drivers in with a very, very solid chance of winning this race. Sergio Fletcher just on the cusp of that as well. Then Maciej Wineks also is kind of in the conversation. If there's problems or incidents or disconnects, it could all change. Right now, this man, Yannick Bock, is in the net lead of this one, but Tyne still to box for fresh rubber and has the gap. Even if he is being caught, he'll come out a little bit behind these guys, but on new tyres and could have the pace to go forward. It's anyone's guess.
It certainly is. I think Tyne really at the moment is in a race to get out ahead of Dylan Fisher, and you can see the lap times last at 1:18.7 but 1:17.6 for Dylan Fisher, who's matching Bock in front of him. So Fisher is doing everything he needs to slide into that pit window and make himself the biggest obstacle to Tyne, and Tyne now is coming in with about 15 laps to go.
Final pit stop for Jarl Tyne, as I said earlier on, a few times winless in 2026. Is this strategy going to help the THR driver? Will the Norwegian get back through? Yannick Bock will slide on by and get the race lead. And actually, that gap, I always forget, it is a long, long old pit lane here in Imola. Jarl Tyne, or Yannick Bock should I say, takes the race lead. There goes Dylan Fisher, so it will be P3, no, it could be P4. Through comes Meunier, and actually not far behind is Fletcher as well. Meunier gets it done. Is Fletcher going to try and take the opportunity? No, not quite. Jarl Tyne holds on to P4 by the skin of his teeth. So on lap 49 of 63, it is a Lunark 1-2. Yannick Bock from Dylan Fisher. The reigning champion Loic Meunier goes to P3. Then it's Jarl Tyne on fresh rubber in P4. Alessandro Maggio just behind them. So the one to watch right now is Jarl Tyne. He's about 9 or so seconds back from the race leader with traffic in between them. But again, fresh, soft tyres for the Norwegian. What is the pace advantage going to be like? Can he make that time up in around about 14 laps? Oh, this could be a very, very interesting ending to this one, couldn't it? Right now, though, Yannick Bock, he's got 5 seconds of Dylan Fisher when he's sitting comfortable. Jarl Tyne has the pressure on him to make that time up head, and he's got to get through Loic Meunier as well. He should do with the DRS down here, but this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, he's got 12, 13, 14 lap fresh tyres, doesn't he? Because it was lap 35, I think, that Meunier put the fresh tyres on the soft, stick of the overspeed. Tyne not messing around at all. Meunier knows that he's not going to stop that. Tom Stevens, by the way, sits at 1:16.7. He's passed Maciej Wineks for P6. So Stevens from 15th on the grid is not out of the fight for P5, especially with the pace advantage he's got on Sergio Fletcher. But his teammate has very much got his eyes on the win, as there is Vasquez picking off Norbert Jakab on the hards. Those who've stuck out on the hards a bit further down the field, Jakab and Magnussen in the Super Venturi, are starting to feel the pain of that. That's why we saw the likes of Maggio having to sort of switch off of that strategy. Valet really badly got caught out, whereas THR saw it coming, didn't really even bother with the hards, and immediately went from mediums to softs and just kept on putting fresh soft tyres on. So that really shows you that it's THR that have gotten it right here, and everybody else is having to react to them, and that's why Maggio is out of sequence to everybody else and having to make places. There's Che Hatch in front of him. He'll have to make risky moves like this one up the inside to Piratello. Luckily, Che Hatch sees it coming and leaves enough space on the inside. Oh my goodness me! That looks like Xavi Ross having a huge moment, nearly on the gravel there, but just about collects it up on time on those. That looks like the hard tyres that Xavi's on.
Yeah, fresh virtual race loop / set of underwear for Xavi Ross after that one. That got a bit dicey, didn't it, as he skipped through the gravel, but kept it in one piece and he can push
He'll be
onwards.
thinking, well, I'm at the points. That wouldn't have shown up on the stream, but well, little did he know.
Yeah, just kept it intact. That's the main thing. He's still got 4 wheels on the black stuff somehow. Anyway, I gotta say, I feel like Valet have massively messed this one up. They were in a fantastic position following qualifying to certainly challenge for the race victory on home soil here in at Imola, just of course in Emilia-Romagna in Italy, but it is the San Marino Grand Prix. It's about 20 miles down the road from San Marino, hence it gets the name because we keep it old school here at GPVWC because we're, you know, cool. Who cares about being down with the kids? Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, get rid of it. Yeah,
you
but
sound
back
like
to
a
my
very old man, Russ, and I'm old.
Spiritually, I am. Spiritually, I am. When it comes to motorsport and racing, I'm very much a traditionalist, shall I say? I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well,
but,
can I go back to something you were just saying before that, when you were saying that Valet had blown the race up?
Yeah.
Because I think it's more a case that Jarl Tyne has sort of forced their hand a little bit. He put pressure on the beginning, and Maggio made a mistake. And he fought it briefly. In fact, you can look at how much Tyne is pushing, by the way. He had the rear tyres all the way over the curb, nearly onto the gravel on the entrance to Tamburello there. So he was using all the track and a little bit more to sort of take chunks. 9/10 taken out of Dylan Fisher at the previous lap. He's only taking about 4/10 a lap, though, out of Yannick Bock, though, which is the crucial one here. So Fisher, if he can hold Jarl Tyne up, that could make the race, because we've got 11 laps to go. The only real chance for Bock now is if Fisher holds Tyne up, and by the time Tyne gets through Fisher, he won't have enough laps left to catch him then. If you've got that 6-second gap, it's kind of 50-50. This could really go on a knife edge, and it's all down to what Dylan Fisher can do and what Jarl Tyne can do to overcome him here, who's driven pretty flawlessly and has led the strategy, more importantly, in this race so far. The Lunark reacted in time in order to get track position here, but now they've got the older tyres.
I'm sure that Lunark will be on the bell to Fisher and going, look, Tyne's going to catch you. He's on fresh rubber. You need to make your car as wide as it physically can be to get us this race win, because you're not going to be able to hold him back for you for the rest of the race. You've got call it 6 seconds to your teammate who leads this race up in front of you. You need to hold back Jarl Tyne as much as you can, because again, the THR squad, I was surprised to see them on the 3-stop, but they've seemingly pulled a blinder. Right now, he's the fastest man on circuit by some margin, and he continues to push onwards. Lap 53 is 63 here at Imola. And Tyne is coming, but he needs to get through Fisher first, who will be putting on the defensive effort of his life. Then he needs to catch Jarl Tyne and get through the 2-time champion, who's looking for his first race victory since 2022. There were a lot of questions over Yannick Bock when he came back this season. Of course, Lunark with the announcement like, oh yeah, by the way, Yannick Bock's driving for us. And there was a lot of surprise. There was a lot of joy. Again, it's always great having somebody the caliber of Yannick Bock coming back to your grid after a bit of a hiatus. But there was questions. Is the ability still there? Is the mindset still there as well? We've seen flashes of what we know Yannick Bock can do so far this season. But here at Imola, this is the man that we know. This is the man that we love. And this is the man who's leading the race.
Here comes Tyne.
Tyne,
nothing
that is
that
easy.
Fisher could do. There we go.
That is so easy for Jarl Tyne with the overspeed, with the DRS up the inside. He's got 6 seconds to catch Yannick Bock in about 10 or so laps. This one could go right down to the wire.
Well, the other thing to remember here is Dylan Fisher has never finished on the podium before in Super League. He's finished, I think, top 5 in Austria 2024 was his best result to my memory. I remember commentating on that one. Dylan was looking so good until a late collision with Martin. But there you go, replayed the move. Tyne almost felt like nothing was going to stop him there at the inside. And so Dylan Fisher, he might now be more worried about Loic Moynier in 4th, who's still a bit of a threat to him rather than Yartan. Of course, Moynier, I think the difference there, Moynier pit lap 44 for fresh tyres, Dylan Fisher lap 43. So the difference is only about a lap there compared to Yartan, who's got so much fresher tyres that Dylan Fisher thought, well, it's not even worth it. Even if I can hold him up for maybe a corner or two, he'll get past me and I won't be able to help Yannick all that much in the end. I'd rather play it safe and focus on consolidating that P3 rather than fighting time, losing time and letting Moynier breeze past him. So you could sort of understand or respect that almost in a way, that he's still trying to maximise Lunark's result there. And now it's already down to Bock to keep matching the time. So last up 1:17.6 for Bock, 1:16.7 for Yartan, who continues to fly out there, but 5.5 seconds behind. He's catching. Is he catching quickly enough is the big question. And Bock, you can be sure, will defend much harder than we saw Dylan Fisher do.
Fisher couldn't really do anything though, could he, with the overspeed from the Norwegian? He was a bit of a sitting duck in that one, unfortunately. You are right
in the race, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll wait to see how it's going to unfold. You are correct. Dylan Fisher, never a podium finisher in Super League. And yeah, he got it bang on. Best result of a 5th place back at the German Grand Prix in 2024. Yes.
Austria, he very nearly got on the podium. But like I said, there was a collision with him and Carlos. Who probably after the day Carlos has had, you won't want to be reminded of that from 2 years ago as well, when him and Dylan came together. But yeah, I forget who got the blame for that one. But anyway,
it was somebody. It's GPVWC.
Dylan was very upset. That's for sure.
Oh, it's sim racing. There's always politics and collisions and the like, isn't there? Last time Dylan Fisher got a podium was 2023, 3rd place in Brazil, the last round of the Super Light season, on his way to the Vice Championship that year. Only the one win though. He's only a 2-time winner in GPVWC, full stop. But yeah, this would be huge for the Englishman if he is able to hold on to that 3rd place, keep Loic Meunier behind. If not, still 4th place, he could still well be on for his best finish
catching
ever.
Here. He's catching, is that Pavel Andrzejewski again in the second Fraser Tartan? So yeah, this is interesting because there's a lapped car in between himself and Tyne that Tyne maybe catches at the wrong point of the circuit. That could really help Yannick Bock here. Yeah, indeed, he pulls over just before Piratella, so Bock will not have to slow down at all. And Tyne now will be hoping he gets, well, he'll certainly get the same treatment because Toby Davies owns both teams, but Pavel will desperately want to hope that Yartan doesn't catch him at like a really awkward point on the circuit. There's Che Hatch stealing the final point off of Patrick and Magnussen on the hards then. So Che Hatch, after being eliminated on the first lap in Montreal, is currently on course for his first ever Super League points here. So the Englishman, we see one Englishman looking to get his first podium, the other looking to get his first points.
It's been great to see Che Hatch put on a solid drive. Again, I say made his debut. He tried to make his debut at Canada last time round. Again, did not last very long at all, unfortunately for him.
I think it was the Super Venturi that he hit. It wasn't Magnussen driving at the time, but yeah. It's the same car though, so he's overcome the demons quite literally. Yeah?
Literally. Well, hopefully he's able to stay in front of Patrick Magnussen. Magnussen, if you're an avid Super Lights fan, he's got a bit of a reputation, does the Icelandic driver. Someone who's very, very, very quick, but you don't want to be near him on a racetrack. He's super aggressive, and chances are you will somehow come together with him. So Che Hatch, I'm sure he's wary of that, and I'm sure he'll have his eye, or certainly one eye on the mirror anyway, just to see what Patrick is doing.
Magnussen's problem though is he qualified so far in the back that he had to gamble on the hards and do a really long second stint here to get to the end. And his pace has been the sort of high 1 minute 19s, low 1 minute 20s. So it's big shoes to fill, isn't it? Those of Jan Grankvist, who, of course, like Owen McGorgy and someone probably seem to have quit the championship. So Magnussen's not got an easy job at all, and to be one place outside the points, that's at least progress for the sole remaining Super Venturi. Meanwhile, Jarl Tyne, fastest in the middle sector, he's got the gap down to 3.5 seconds then. But 6 laps to go, then this could be very, very close then. Yannick Bock has got to get the most out of these decaying tyres. There is Pavel Andrzejewski about to be lapped down the straight by Jarl Tyne. So actually, Jarl Tyne will get a bit of slipstream here. In fact, it's Jarl who's gained from this lap car a little bit more than Yannick Bock.
Getting the DRS as well. That is potentially crucial for Jarl Tyne's race. Gap now down to 3.5 on lap 58 to 63. We are quickly running out of time. And Jarl Tyne, is he going to catch Yannick Bock? And then, of course, if he does catch Yannick Bock, it's one thing to catch the driver in front, it's another thing to overtake. Who knows what is going to be in store over the last 5 or so laps in this race. Imola, oh, it's so good to have her back. We somehow didn't have a 20-car pile-up at Tamburello on lap number 1, which quite frankly I think that might be a GPVWC record for the cleanest race start we've ever had at Imola in any of our series here at GPV. And it's just been fantastic, and I've missed it. I know I keep banging on about it, but it's been 4 weeks. It's been so long, and we're finally back and we get a race like this. Oh man, this is just the best thing in the world, isn't it? Yard time, now 2.5. Box tyres clearly dropping away. And he can probably see, yeah, he can see the Lunark. Probably not quite close enough to smell blood, but Yartine is a man on a mission. Yannick Bock is searching for his first race win since 2022. Yartine is searching for his first race win this season. This could get interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember when Lunark's last one. I think it might have been Moritz Kropp in FS1 end of 2023, I want to say, in Brazil. He won the reverse grid sprint race there. I think that was the last Lunark win that I remember, because I don't think they've won any in Super Lights, unless I've misremembered something. But Mike Quint might have won one, but he might have finished on the podium in Super Lights. But either way, to get a double podium would be a big deal for Lunark. Dylan Fish is still about 2.9 seconds out of Loic Moynier, and matching the Moynier's lap times almost instantaneously there. So that's a very good fight. Tom Stevens, it does look like Milnek on slightly... when did Milnek pit lap 43? Stevens pit lap 46. So Stevens actually should have the freshest soft tyres, but Milnek is still within 0.6 of him and getting a bit of a DRS to potentially a challenge for P6 in the closing stages. But of course, crucial in the THR-HRT battle for the team's championship leadership, with HRT a driver down and THR fighting for victory. That could be a really crucial battle, that P6 one. And they're about 7 seconds out of Axel Ho then in P8, so they've got it all to themselves. But look at Yartan now within 2 seconds of Yannick Bock here with 3 laps to go then. So any mistake by either of them, and that could decide this. So Yartan has got to throw caution to the wind and just absolutely go for it, whereas Yannick Bock is the man with all the experience. He's won the title 2 times, won almost countless Super League races, and how much this one would mean to him. It's almost a Lewis Hamilton style victory to prove that he's still got it against the young pretender Yartan.
Well,
I say young pretender, he's a dad, of course. But
yeah, and Yannick's he's not an old guy either. He's like mid-20s off the top of my head, but you know, the point still stands. But
he's got 2 more titles than Jarl.
No, that's true. Again, Jarl agonizingly close last season. Obviously, that incident in Brazil kind of put an end to all of it. Again, a lot of politics were thrown around. It was all a bit of a messy time here in GPVWC at the back of the last year. It was certainly fun to enjoy as somebody who doesn't have any stakes in any teams or driving or anything, to say the least. But we're going on to lap 61 of 63. 3 to go at the line this time. Gap is 1.6 out of Ravazza. If Tyne gets the DRS down the main straight, well, it depends how much battery that Bock has, but those soft tyres are working wonders. Of course, DRS here in GPVWC, it's 0.7 of a second for the activation rather than the 1 second that you used to from most series and seasons and whatever. Changed it for this year, part of the new regulation package, part of the plan to make it a little bit more difficult for the drivers. If Tyne gets that DRS, I think he'll work his way through. Mache looking for a way through on Tom Stevens, the Polish driver, race winner last time out, fighting with the Englishman, who has worked his way up very, very solidly in this race, it must be said. We did kind of write Tom Stevens off after a disappointing qualifying. Does have a bit of a worn engine in the back of that THR car, but he's doing an incredible job right now, making his car wide as possible, trying to keep the HRT behind. This, of course, Ed, is huge for the Constructors' Championship. It is THR that leads the way in, or not THR, HRT, should I say. Too many alliterations. It's HRT that leads the way from THR in that one by just about, I think, 35 points if memory serves.
Yep.
So
151 to 116. So
there you go. So you can do maths. So it is tight from a constructor standings perspective. With HRT having an off day, with Carlos Martin in the second car also out of the race, Tyne's looking for the race win. If Stevens can keep matching behind, that is huge for their efforts to get themselves potentially another team's title at the end of the year.
Yeah, of course, but Milnek has got to sort of, on a difficult day, get the most that he can out of this particular race and crucially keep his own driver's title aspirations alive. Bock and Tyne still dueling away, but you can tell Tyne has taken quite a lot of life out of his softs. To the outside comes Milnek on Stevens, and again, Stevens knows he can just control the inside, the middle of the road into Tamburello. And he's got Milnek covered for the time being, especially because Stevens has got slightly fresher tyres, and he moves to the middle of the road going into Villeneuve as well. So Stevens, we've seen plenty of great defensive drives for him in the past, and now Milnek, who remember won Brazil last season with a similarly fantastic defensive drive, has got to find that attacking spirit that we saw in Canada and bring it into play here, force Tom Stevens into a mistake. Meanwhile, Tyne within 8/10 now, so close to that DRS sort of activation, and Yannick Bock knows he's just got to survive for one more lap. Has Tyne run out of time and run out of tyres here?
We'll wait to see. We are coming around Ravazza 2 for the final, or the penultimate time, should I say, to start the final lap of this race. Won't be DRS for Jarl Tyne on this occasion. And as well, we got to remember, Ed, as well, you think, oh, it's okay, we'll get the DRS on the fast lap, on the last lap. It's a long old straight. The start-finish line is really early down that straight, so that does play into Yannick Bock's benefit. And there's not really many other overtaking positions on this circuit either. The gap still stands at about a second as they make their way through Villeneuve for the final time. It is so tight out there. Two greats of GPVWC neck and neck for the race lead. Two fantastic drivers going side by side into Tamburello as Winnick and Stevens come together. Winnick goes round and will hold on to 7th place as he completes a 360. Maybe he'll drop down to 8th. Through goes Alex Lahoe in the TOP car. The Frenchman, the 2024 Superleague champion, slides through. But a slight bit of touching between Winnick and Tom Stevens, and that is that. Half a lap left to run in this one, Ed. I think Yannick Bock may be okay.
Yeah, you felt that collision between Milnek and Stevens going, because Milnek kept going for the outside. Stevens kept blocking off Milnek, said, right, I'll just hang it on around the outside and see what happens. And what happened was he ended up coming off the loser, unfortunately. So, yeah, let's hope there isn't too much controversy. But round the final corner, here he comes, our first win for Yannick Bock since 2022.
1,365 days. The two-time champion, after a long old wait, is back on top in GPVWC. Yannick Bock wins the Imola Grand Prix, the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola even. It's one of those ones anyway. And what a drive, what a performance, and what a historical moment. For the first time since 2022, the German stands alone. Tyne finishes in second. Dylan Fischer gets his first podium in GPVWC Super League. And it makes it a Lunark 1-3 as well. Wow, what a night for the team. What a night for Yannick Bock. What a night for GPVWC Super League. Dylan Fischer and Sergio Fletcher trying to kill each other in celebration, with the reigning champ 4th. Sergio Fletcher in P5. Wow, what a race that was, Ed Hunter. Just action-packed for Imola, especially where it's difficult to overtake. So much action, and the strategy battle as well, superb. But it is Yannick Bock for the first time in a long old time that wins in Super League.
Yeah, there we go. So in the end, Lunark and THR shadowing each other's strategies, but it was Yannick Bock, as you say, had just enough to hold on. Their brilliant performance there from the German then. And yeah, Lunark are going to be really celebrating not only their first Super League victory, but a double podium with Dylan Fischer holding on by, I think, 7/10 from Lloyd Moynier. So Moynier was charging at the end there, but just ran out of laps and tyres to really catch Dylan Fischer. And Fischer had to do a lot of tyre saving in that final stint. So even more reason not to defend from Jarl Tyne, because it could well have cost him P3. But in the end, Fischer making all the right calls, and he's going to be absolutely delighted with that, but not as delighted as Yannick Bock, of course.
You make a great point. As you said, first Super League victory for the Lunark squad as well. What a night. The 18th of June in 2026 will go down as a very happy day for that team. It is Yannick Bock who takes victory for the first time since Singapore 2022 here in GPVWC Super League. Jarl Tyne is second, still hunting for that first win this season. but it's clear he's driving well. Clear he's got that hunger back, and clear he's enjoying racing once again. Dylan Fisher rounds out the podium, his first Super League podium as well. Huge congratulations to him. What a drive and a performance from the Englishman. Loic Meunier holds on to P4 from Sergio Fletcher in 5th. Tom Stevens with 6th. Alex Laho, a great stand-in this evening from the 2024 Superleague Champion, on his way to P7 for TOP. Then it is Maciej Młynek in P8. A little bit of an off performance maybe from the HRT, the sole finishing HRT, of course, given his win last time out in Canada, but it's still points. It's not too bad. Rounding out our top 10, Aaron Vasquez in P9. Then it's Alessandro Maggio in P10, who'll probably be a bit upset, a bit heartbroken at the end of that one, but that's racing. Valley Esports just didn't quite get it executed well today. It's Thomas Vac that leads the road to Formula Charge in P11. Then Lucas Mono follows him. They're followed by Philip Pushka 13th. Norbert Jakab is P14. Another driver who's had a bit of a disappointing evening, unfortunately, from the Hungarian. Jay Hatch does get his points. Great to see that in the final points paying position, P15 for Jay Hatch. That's his first Super League points as well. Congratulations to him with a really solid drive and a much better showing, a much longer showing than Canada was for him. Then it's both the Adonises in 16th and 17th. Javi Ross leading Eros Masciuli. Jose Soriano, P18 for last year's Superleague champion. Maurice Kropp, P19, followed by Jeffrey Fournier, the Frenchman, in P20 for Red Archer VRT. Then two more finishes for you. Patrick Magnussen on his stand-in for Super Venturi finishes in 21st. Pavel Andrzejewski in 22nd after a bit of a messy race from him, unfortunately, in the FTR car. And then a whole host of DNFs for you. We lost Tom van der Voort, Mark Schluter, Carlos Martin, Jukka-Pekka Laulu, Davi Amiris on his debut in Super League, and then Daniel Scott, unfortunately for the Superlight stalwart, wasn't even able to make it off of the grid after the engine conked out on him. But wow, what a race that was, and just an unbelievable evening. Ed, it's been a longer while since GPVWC, about a month's passed since Canada, but that was the perfect way to bring us back.
Indeed it was. Yeah, very unpredictable race. Loads of different strategies playing out, and a couple of people called it absolutely right. A couple of people had to react in panic that they called it wrong. A couple of people just had to stick it out and try and make the hard tyres work as best they could, and the mediums as well for that matter. But yeah, certainly a really engrossing fight for the lead between Yannick Bock and Jarl Tyen. I sort of thought Jarl had it, but Yannick Bock absolutely pulled it out of the bag there, and Jarl Tyen will have to wait just that little bit longer for the first win of the season. But he, unsurprisingly, is the first in the interview room. And yeah, a controversial collision at the end as well between Stevens and Milnek. I don't imagine Milnek will be too happy at the end of that one on a difficult, what a contrast for HRT, difficult day in Imola that sees their championship lead significantly cut into. So it's game on in both championships, and Moynier in P4 now has potentially a new challenger in the form of Yannick Bock to worry about for the rest of the season as well.
He does indeed. Well, let's speak to our second place finisher before we do that. Again, a quick look at the calendar. Up next, Britain. England, yeah, go on. Yes, Silverstone awaits us as we quickly approach the halfway mark of the season. 2nd of July for that one, 2 weeks down the road. And then we've got Belgium, Hungary, and then we are quickly back to our summer break. Only 4 races, one of them already done before the summer break. So the next kind of host of what you can expect to see, not just from up here in Super League, of course, even if those are the Super League dates, but what you can expect from us here in GPV in general. Obviously, Silverstone up next. Then we're off to Spa, and then the Hungaro Ring. Well, we said we speak to Jarl Tyen first. Our race winner and 3rd place finisher have now joined, but we'll speak to him first because he was there first. Jarl Tyen, another fantastic drive from you on your way to 2nd place. If there was a couple more laps at the end of that race, you probably would have won it, but still, another really solid podium from yourself. How are you feeling?
A couple more laps, my tires would have been dead.
Yeah, but you were catching, Yannick. Come on.
But they were on the way to fall off. But no. That was definitely an interesting race, and was probably the only one that made the 3-stop work. I think others were on 3 stops as well, but different compounds, and they just fell off very quickly. But yeah, I decided early on that I was going to go for a 3-stop despite the 27-second pit loss, which is huge. But I just felt like I had raw speed, and I just wanted to use it, and the 2-stop was probably the conservative strategy, and in hindsight, maybe would have won the race. But I just felt like I wanted to go aggressive today, and I almost made it work. A couple of small mistakes and traffic, which is obviously natural with another pit stop. But there was a moment where I lost 3 seconds in traffic, and that might have been the one that decided me. Yeah. But either way, I'm very happy to lose to Yannick out of anyone. So he drove fantastic.
Of course. Yes, you may still be searching for your first win this year, but it's been another great drive for you. Your third podium of the season, and a really good result for both the THR cars as well, with Tom finishing a P6 at the end of that one after a really disappointing qualifying. So the pace is very much there. Are you just waiting really to finally get that first win this season to kind of break through, really establish yourself once again as a championship challenger?
It's not really. I don't really mind as long as I have clean races. I am actually happy because I've had so many races where I've had pace and never been able to show it. Like today, like I had pace and I was able to show it. So today I'm happy. The result isn't like it's not holding me back. I'm not driving worse because I don't have a win in my bag. I know what I need to do each race, and my mentality is always the same. So I'm not affected by not having a win at all. I know I have the speed, so I just need to do more of the days today, like do that every single race, and then that should be fine.
Of course. Ed, any questions for second place finisher Yartine?
Nothing big that comes to mind other than congrats on the best result of the season so far. I think you're fifth in the championship on 71 points. So I think you're one behind Carlos Martin now in P4, and yeah, certainly a lot of points gained in the teams championship. Of course, THR had a bit of a tricky start to the season, but now it really feels like you and Tom have started to regain some momentum. And especially on a bad day for HRT, who was so strong in Canada, do you feel teams championship is back on you?
I think it always is with.
It was never off, okay?
Yeah, no, I just think me and Tom is consistent enough to always bring it home. I'm not too scared about that. And if somebody beats us, then fair play. HRT is definitely going to be a target, but I always see the second driver in every single team be able to score consistently. So, and we're lucky to have two solid drivers in our team, so that's obviously the benefit. But yeah, just need to do what we did today again.
Yeah, amazing pace, by the way. Fastest lap of the race, 1:16.589. So clearly, in the last couple rounds, you've been practicing like crazy, getting on pole in Canada, and then just missing out to Alessandro by about a tenth here as well. So you've really got the one lap pace sorted at the moment. So
yeah, my testing has completely changed. I've switched to more hot lap focus, especially qualifying, and you can see how much of an easier race you can have when you run up front. Compared to in the pack, which I did last year. Yeah, I made plenty of races work last year with coming through the field, but I every single time had to work my butt off to get it. So yeah, different mentality this year, different strategies, and seems to be working the last couple of rounds.
Well, you've become a very, very regular soft tyre customer in the pit lane, it must be said. So anyway, yes. Congrats on the P2, Jarl. It's brilliant talking to you. Best of luck for the rest of the season. That first win of 2026, I'm sure, is not far away because it gets closer and closer every race.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jarl. Great to speak to our second place finisher in that one, should I say. But it is now time to talk to our race winner for the first time in 1,365 days. Yannick Bock, you are a GPVWC Super League race winner, and what a way to do it here at Imola as well. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It was a very good race, and looking forward to the next one.
Yep, always short and sharp, but yeah, it was a fantastic drive from yourself, Yannick. You did amazingly well with your teammate finishing P3 as well. But of course, this is the first time we've spoken to you this year. It's the first time you've been on the podium, let alone taking a race win. Welcome back. It's good to speak to you. But what brought you back to Super League? Because we haven't actually realised what that was yet. And, you know, obviously congrats on the win, but you've come in with Lunark and already got yourself a race win 7 rounds in.
Yeah, well, after I think 2 years of a break, I decided to return. I had some private life going on and just didn't want to invest the time. And it's kind of a bit of a problem this year as well. I will I already missed some races. I will miss some other races as well. But yeah, I like the grind basically in practice to improve every day, to have a good car and to have like a good performance at the race day. Yeah, basically some races this year were a bit unlucky for me. I think the race pace was always there, but like I'm not good at quali this year. And then I had some incidents, so it was a bit of unfortunate results. But yeah, today I made some okay quali lap, I would say, and had a very good race. So in the end, it worked out.
And how much of a step forward has the Lunark made coming into this round? Because both of you guys have been fighting really, really well, driving really, really well. You've got some great positions or finishing positions under your belt, but you've come into here at Imola and got yourself a 1-3. So is that a case of the car's taken a big step forward, or did you just both have really good races?
I think we had a good car with the 100% engine. I think this makes a difference everywhere. I don't know. I think the other guys struggled a bit more with the tires today. It was pretty hot, so the track time was quite high, and I think we just were very good on the tires. I mean, you see it with Zeeuw. He did a 3-stop, which should be slower with a pit delta of 28 or 29 seconds, but he made it work, so it got very close in the end. But I think the tires were the key today because, yeah, it was pretty hot and it was close to make the 2-stop work like we did. And we did it good in practice and we successfully did it in the race.
Absolutely. And of course, that's not just the first victory for you since 2022, but this is Lunark's first ever Super League victory as well, which you've managed to bring home. What does that mean for the team?
I think you have to ask some kind of team boss. I hope he's very happy today because of the good result. I mean, we produced some decent results in the past, but not that good. And like the double podium is always quite good. We scored the most points today, so I think he will be happy and looking forward to the next races so we can have good results as well.
Of course. Ed, any questions for our race winner, Yannick Bock?
Well, congratulations on the win. We also get a message from Toby Davies in the YouTube chat. It says Super Bock, and he's put a smiley face as well. So clearly some applause from a rival team manager as well. So I'm sure Luke Mitchell as well, who was cheering you on earlier, Yannick, is going to be very, very pleased with that as well. And yeah, as you said, a 2-year break, because I think you were doing Formula Sim racing in 2024, weren't you? And you fought Owen McGorgy for the championship. So great to see you back on the top step, and yeah, really rolls the years back to those 2 title winning years. I was just wondering, what's your objective for the rest of the season? Yeah, you said there might be a few more races you have to miss. Do you think now Lunark, I think, have gone from P8 to P6 in the team's table after this result? Do you think more is possible, or are you going to keep grounded for the rest of the season?
No, I think we will have the possibility to be like on the top 3 teams. I mean, you saw today we can like successfully be on the podium, and I think we can do it in every race. It just need to work out with good preparations and good qualification, and then good race setup and good race pace. We were a bit unfortunate this year with some incidents, and I already missed some races, so we didn't score that much point like we could. But if we like can continue like today, I think we will have good chances to climb up in the team standings.
Brilliant. That's what I love to hear. Bullish, but also very clinical and aggressive Yannick Bock. So that's the Yannick I remember. So thanks for talking to us, Yannick, and yeah, enjoy a very, very hard-earned victory, because I think everybody's going to be cheering your name after this.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks very much, Yannick. Great to speak to our race winner in the 2-time champ and his first victory in 1,365 days as well. We'll now go over and speak to his teammate, who has, of course, just claimed his first Super League podium. Dylan Fisher, what a drive from yourself, mate. Absolutely brilliant. A win for your teammate, of course, but still, as I said, your first Super League podium. You must be delighted.
No, not at all. I hate it.
Oh, really?
Mate, like, yeah, was not expecting that, you know, in practice. I got on today and I just could not drive. So, no idea where it came from. And of course, Yannick, mega.
No, I mean, it was a great drive from your teammate, but an equally impressive drive from yourself. And, you know, first victory for the team, first double podium for the team in Super League, first podium for you, as I keep saying. But, yeah, just talk us through the race from your perspective. There's a little bit of fighting going on, but ultimately it just seemed like you were just running very, very comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, most of it was just trying to control the tires, especially on the soft. Like, you push them a little bit too hard and they're gone, especially in the track temps that we had. Compared to practice, the tires were in so much quicker, so it was even more important. So, yeah, and then qualifying, of course, was amazing as per. Banker time, my fastest lap. Great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, most of it was just trying to keep clean, which Mark tried his best to make that not happen again. You know, which cost me a bit of time, but you know, we all needed a bit of stress at the end, right? For P3. I certainly did.
Oh, it's, you know, it's always a bit of fun being stressful, isn't it? We wouldn't be here without it.
Of
but
course,
still.
Easy for you to say, Russ.
You doesn't love a little bit of stress in their life.
I wasn't looking at the delta every 2 seconds at all. No.
But still, you were able to hang on and get your first Super League podium as well. You know, it's clear that Lunark as a squad, you guys have made a big step forward coming into this round. Is that podium? Are we about to see unlock Dylan Fisher, or is there still a bit of work to be done?
A lot of work needs to be done. You know, this race points out, you know, Yannick is just so much better than me in race trim. It's incredible. So I need to learn where that is coming from. But we shall see. I hope so. But you never know.
Still a long season ahead. Ed, any questions for our first time podium finisher in Dylan Fisher?
Well, Dan, I've been commentating at you in GPV for a few years now, and I have to say, I can't think of a more deserving driver after so much misfortune to finally get that first podium, of course. Well, mainly because Maggio's already got a podium, but a couple podiums, but there we go.
Before me. God.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, Dylan, I have to say, it's just, Dylan, I think you were saying earlier that you felt a bit frustrated that Bok was faster than you, but I think you made absolutely the right call to let him through as early as you did in the race and sort of maximize your own result there, especially with how close Loic got at the end. So you really proved your mettle against some really, really stiff opposition. I think you really, really deserve that, especially because it's not been an easy last few years. I think it's fair to say for you, Dylan. So you've really risen to the challenge. And yeah, I hope your home race in a few weeks' time goes just as well and we see you challenging for the podium once more. So thanks for talking to us, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you. Silverstone, oh no.
Hey, if the podium curse is off your back, then who knows what could happen, Dylan. You didn't feel confident going in today, and it ended up well. So.
Yeah, race win next time. Silverstone, home fans, you know the drill.
Bring Ross into rapture, yeah.
Still, Dylan, an amazing drive, and yeah, go and celebrate. First podium, that's nothing to write home about. Congratulations, mate.
I'll enjoy a nice glass of water.
I think we all will.
Oh, yeah, it's too warm for this, but yeah, thank you.
No worries. Great to speak to Dylan Fisher, our third place finisher, his first ever podium in GPVWC Super League as well. We've got one more driver waiting for an interview. Unfortunately, it is Alex the Hoe, but we'll give him the time of day anyway. Alex, hey, how you doing,
I
mate?
heard that. Yeah,
Still, mate. Great to have you back with us in Super League. A really solid drive from yourself as well. And again, only entered a couple rounds this year, but your first points-paying finish of the year. How are you feeling?
Pretty great, just the fact that it's immensely hot in my room, like sweat was dripping all race long. And I expect to be dying like Sunday. Everyone knows. like bro, so hot. But yeah, I would say it's a great result, P7. was expecting a top 15 with like the way the practice went. Didn't have enough, a lot of time to practice. I was expecting like a top 15, but P7, I'm fine by it, considering the strat was wrong as well.
Still did a fantastic job, and standing in for TOP got him to a good finish as well. So things looking up. Are you maybe tempted to draw your attention away from some of the Formula Sprint action to focus on Super League a bit more, or are you still going to stay down there in FS?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll go wherever you're not commentating, I guess. I don't want to see you. But
That could be directed at both of us, the way you said that.
animosity. No, but I guess I'll stay in FS1 for this year, and I don't know what I want to do for next year. I want to take a break and focus on more like esports event with like huge prize pools, like Logitech G Challenge, etc., etc. Because I know I've got the pace. I just need to prep. And this year is a bit difficult because I start work at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. sometimes. So I have to sacrifice sleep and kind of manage my time more, which is not ideal when we want to do a race sim like in the evening. But I have to go to bed immediately after, otherwise I will not have enough sleep for work tomorrow. Anyway, quali was good. Quali was decent.
It was good. It was really,
Quali
really
was
good,
decent.
mate.
Just kept bottling 14s, kept bottling them. And the race, went on the hards because the track temp was way hotter than expected. So my tires just died on the first stint, the softs. They died way earlier than expected. So I went on the hards instead of the mediums to assure that they would last until lap 40 something, which was the bad choice because I could have easily went faster with the mediums. It's like Spa 2025 all over again.
Well, the fact that you're finishing well and still think there's more to be made out of it, that says a lot about your mindset, and that's good. So, nothing to complain about that. Ed, any questions for Alex Laho?
Oh, it's just good to see you back in Super League once again, Alex, and scoring well. There was a bit of good luck at the end with Tom and Mache coming together at the end that got you a bonus position, but you still got to be there to take advantage when those sorts of things happen, I think it's fair to say. Obviously, we're going to be seeing you, as you said, at the weekend, and as you know, I controlled the weather to make it as hot as possible and as miserable an experience as possible for you behind the wheel, Alex.
Yeah, it's
and then you'll see me. Then you'll hear from me again for FS1 as well, where of course your lead has been cut to 52 points as you were busy at the certain circuit de la
no.
Well, 52.
No.
Oh dear, such a tiny margin. Yeah,
Stop! You're gonna jinx it.
Be fair, Patrick Rozak halved it while you were away by winning both races,
Yeah.
so taking 50
Both
points.
races. I was on track in Le Mans, and then I saw Patrick won both races. I was like, oh damn. And then I was wondering what Jack was doing, because I was expecting him to like catch up really quickly in the standings, but I guess Patrick did.
Yeah, well, I guess we got that up next week in exactly a week's time on Thursday, which all our GPVWC viewers will be looking forward to seeing how you get on maintaining that championship lead. I'm sure you're thinking about sewing up a couple rounds early so you can go on holiday again.
Ah, hell yeah, I hope. Yes,
Get
yes,
some small sleep, yeah.
Get me out of this.
Well, okay, well, best of luck, Alex. You put in some entertaining moves, especially early on the race when you were following Loic through the field, which I quite enjoyed. And you were picking off at Alessandro and catching up to Sergio as well. But yeah.
Yep, that wasn't bad. That was
let's
only
hope
possible thanks to the
TOP
team.
call upon your services again in the future, because you've certainly made a great account of yourself so far, and best of luck for your challenges in FS1 and a certain other series beginning with FS that I'm heavily involved in.
Yeah, I think it's like race, it means the last letter, and I'm not sure.
Shh, we're not allowed to talk about it. Well, we are, but like not too much, because otherwise Toby will tell me off.
Yeah, because we go
Rightly
racing,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway,
moving on.
time to end it. Why does it always end this way when we talk? To be fair, I caused it.
Because
Anyway.
To be fair, you're not helping it.
Yeah, no, I'm encouraging you, and I shouldn't. So, go away. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Thanks for
see you
talking to us.
guys. Have a great evening, and see you guys soon.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
See you later,
Bye.
Alex. Great
You
to
guys too.
speak to Alex Lowe, as always, after a really solid drive from himself. That looks like it's all we got time for here. Ed, what a race it was this evening, and what a great way to welcome back GPVWC Super League after our spring break.
Yeah, by the way, just confirmation on the Teams Championship. THR have cut the gap to Holland Racing Team from 35 points to 13 points going into Silverstone. So, home race for THR. You'd be bet they want to retake the lead and run away with it, as has been the form in the last 3 seasons running. So, HRT are going to have to strike back quite considerably from the setback they had today. But yeah, nonetheless, it's Lunark that quite rightly, they may be part of the THR group, so maybe Toby Davis a little bit saying, oh, free, that's a 1-2-3 for me, is what he was telling me behind the scenes. But I'm sure Lunark will take some personal pride in that brilliant result as well, not least Yannick Bock and Dylan Fisher having breakthrough results there indeed. And yeah, it was lovely talking to Yannick, and Yannick was a typical Yannick Bock sort of, yes, everything went as expected, and it's very calm, very concise, very that's sort of his mentality, and he's incredibly efficient. So that's a warning shot, I think, for the rest of the season. And that means now, stretching back, I think ever since Bahrain, round 3, we've had a different winner in all of the following races. So there really are, it is really, every race we go to, it's someone else that gets on top then. So that really bodes well for how competitive this championship is right now.
It certainly is competitive, and yeah, Yannick Bock saying what Yannick Bock says is what he wants to do, I guess. But yes, that's all we got
talking
time
on
for.
track. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's the best way to put it, as in he does none of the talking off of it. But yes, that is all we got time for here for round number 7 of the GPVWC Super League season here at Imola. It's been a fantastic, fantastic race, and what a way to bring us back after the summer, or spring break, should I say. Just brilliant, brilliant action from start to finish. Of course, you can catch everybody else out there at Silverstone over the next week or 2 weeks or whatever. We'll be back, though, 2 weeks to the day for our next Super League round. Round number 8, quickly approaching the halfway mark of the season, the British Grand Prix. We'll see you there. Thank you.